nervous.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ReelTok, episode 102. Got a great episode for you today. It's just myself and Seth. Where are they? Cam is at a wedding.
Yeah,
Tyler's
a bachelor.
Cruise. Tyler's on a bachelor party cruise right now. So, to our beautiful co-hosts, we hope you guys are enjoying a very well-deserved rest and relaxation weekend. Although I don't know if Cam is in the wedding. If he's in the wedding he's at, then maybe he's busy. But if not, I'm sure he's enjoying his time. And Tyler on a cruise, I just can't imagine it's a poor experience unless it ends up Titanicing, which I hope does not happen. But you got me and Seth today. We're going to run through Alien Romulus review, and then we're going to do a full Alien deep dive breakdown of the entire franchise, excluding the Alien versus Predator movies. We're not.
Yeah.
We're doing Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, Resurrection, Prometheus, Covenant, and we'll obviously start with our full Romulus review / spoiler talk. I've been talking about it on Twitter and TikTok, but we're approaching fun horror Halloween season. So Seth and I are going to kick off, a fun 2.5 months of, scattered horror chatter on the podcast today with a horror franchise tier list. We did a tier list of superhero movies a couple weeks ago, and that got some really good reception. You guys want to see these, so we figured we would kick off some horror stuff today. And then some quick trailers, news, and then that'll wrap up the episode. Shout out, as always, to our executive producers, Mr. Stefan Johnson and Stefan Niebrick, and shout out to all of our patrons who are active on the Discord, who are just a part of this awesome community we've tried to build over the last couple of years. Seth, how you doing, man? Up late watching UFC last night, I see.
Yeah, of course. I'm good. Busy week work-wise. Obviously went to the Alien Romulus UK premiere, which was cool actually. It was
that looked sick.
It was a good event. There was some good stuff.
Good movie too.
Yeah, we'll go on. So my love, Kaylee Spaney in the flesh.
Yes.
It was good. It was a good event. Went out after for a little bit, saw a lot of people I know and stuff, which is always cool. But other than that, go on.
Did you go with Josiah, or did you guys just?
Yeah. I took Josiah. Yeah. And then there was a bunch of us there. It was good. It was pretty interactive. A bunch of stuff to do, whatever. Obviously Fede Alvarez and the cast was there. Well, actually, only 3 members of the cast was there. So it was
who? Kaylee
Spaney, something Renault, who's the main guy, who's not David Johnson. The main guy. Can't remember his name in the film though. Renault?
Oh, Archie Renault, Tyler.
Yes, that's the one, Tyler. And then Spike something. That's the actor's name. He was the guy who played the
Spike Fern, Bjorn, the one that's
Bjorn.
What does he say? This in the fucking water, whatever he fucking says.
That's the one. The really English guy. So yeah, they were there. Fede Alvarez was there. Spoke about the film a little bit. That was cool. They did this really awkward thing where they were so basically there was I don't know if it's the same premieres over there, but they have 2 sections, a lot of them. So if you're a creator, you get to do certain things like photo ops and stuff.
Okay.
And they'll take you to them and stuff. And there was one they did, and it was you'd walk in a room, and it was about 10 photographers there, whatever. And there's just a guy sat in one of it was in a screening room, but dark. There was a guy sat on one of the seats with a face hugger on.
Okay.
And then we had to sit either side of him, and the whole point was that he goes like this. And for those who are listening, it's just he doesn't jump or anything. He just has a light.
He just jolts quickly.
Body spasm moment. Yeah. And it's meant to scare you, and it was really awkward because me and Josiah were just
Was that the whole thing, or was there a bit where something came out of his chest?
Well, yeah, that's what you would think, but no, that was the whole thing. And then we walked out afterwards, and because they were trying to use it for socials, trying to scare people.
Yeah.
I was they are not using.
Dude, I never see any of these viral marketing campaigns ever in person, but people post pictures of like the Smile campaign
Yeah.
all across New York City, the alien face hugger all across New York City. What else recently happened where people were
The Kingdom of Planet of the Apes one was
Kingdom of the
massive.
Planet of the Apes all across New
Yeah.
York City of apes riding horses? I see none of it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like it's like you have to be that. There was a cool thing they did. Like so, there's a guy called Ali Plum here who's like, you know, the guy in the US who does a lot of the interviews with directors and actors, like really popular. One of them, I can't remember his name.
Reese,
He who?
Reese. That's the first one that came to
I have
mind.
no idea. But like, you know what I mean? Like one of those guys
Yeah.
who's like does good press junkets, so he's like known for that. So there's a guy here who does the same. I think he works for like one of the big radio stations. He like introduced the film and like introduced Fede Alvarez and stuff. And there was like a moment where, you know, the lights went out and then suddenly the lights come back on and there's like two guys next to him with like face hookers on his face or whatever, like trying to create one of these rival moments. But that was cool. They actually put effort. Like there's a lot of events you go to and they don't really, there's not really much there. And there's not really much effort put in, you can tell. But I mean, it's an alien film, so they kind of went, you know, all in with it, which was cool.
It's pretty. Also, yeah, you have like these practical effects on the alien set, like a face hugger. Like it's so easy to just make like a plastic copy of that and just.
And it's so iconic as well.
So exactly.
It's good for marketing.
I feel like it's something that doesn't require an insane amount of like effort or money to just do something that simple. Just have a guy lie down with a face hugger. It's fucking scary, no matter how easy it was to put together.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy one to do. But no, it was good. So other than that, nothing really. UFC last night. Went to I told you already, had the worst cinema experience in my life.
Yeah.
I'll go into it.
Can you still tell it for the audience, please? When I saw your Spider-Man 3 log on Letterboxd, I thought it was going to be a whole rant of your experience. I didn't think you would actually write a review.
It was going to be. I think it would have been if my experience was the whole experience. So I may as well say now. Basically, when I went to Spider-Man 3, there was like a bunch of kids there. And a lot of them were fine. Like, you know, they're just like school kids, whatever. Young kids. They're like probably like 9, 8.
Yeah.
And then
idiots.
So, yeah, there's like 10 of them there. And then halfway through, like nothing happens for the first bit, and I'm like, oh, this is cool, whatever. And then, like, probably halfway through the screening, the kids just started running up and down, like run up to me, run up to everybody, like throwing things, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I don't want to say something because I'm like, I don't really want to. I feel bad, you know, in front of someone's kids. To, like, say
were you by yourself or were you with Anna?
No, I was by myself. But it was quite small. It was quite a quiet screen. There was only like outside of these two families, there's probably 4 of us there.
Okay.
I was like, okay, no one's saying anything. I'm just gonna go outside and I'm gonna snitch on them. So I did. And then the guy comes in, he's like, oh, they're still doing it, says to me, and I was like, whatever. And so you guys have a chat with them. Because at the time as well, so the kids are running around and the parents are just on their phone, full brightness. And I'm like, what are we doing here?
Was the theater packed?
No, so it was like 5. There's like 5 of us outside. Like 5.
Yeah, no one wants to see that crap anyways.
Sure. And then I'm like, okay, whatever. And they come in, and then it stops for like half an hour. I'm like, cool, whatever. Then it gets like the final act of the film. So, spoilers for Spider-Man 3. There you go. So, like, where I don't know, where did it start again? Where like Sandman and Venom kind of like team up, whatever. It's like the first initial moment. It's like the final sort of half an hour, 40 minutes of the film. And then the mum just starts screaming at them in the middle of like the screen, just screaming. The kids are crying. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Screaming at who? The kids?
The kids. And I'm like, I get the kids are hard to control, but like, if you come to a cinema and they start acting up, you tell them.
Leave.
If they keep acting up, you leave. Yeah. Like, you just because everyone else has paid, you know, money to go. And then it kept going, and then stopped for a bit, and then at the end I had to say something, so I just said that you know you shouldn't be here and whatever. I wasn't horrible about it, but I was just like you can't.
Yeah, you just got to be honest. Like
I said, if you can't control if you can't control your kids, you shouldn't be here, because it got to the point where it was like they were told by the staff like 5. I felt bad for the staff because they have to keep coming in and they were just ignoring him and going on their phones, whatever. It was so rude. So I think I'm gonna go again because shit. But it wasn't the whole time anyway, so that was fine. But yeah, other than that, pretty quiet week. A very busy week coming up, but that's about it.
Yeah, same here. Fairly quiet week. Long days of work this week. It's just been like hell, and it sucks when work is busy, when it's things that I guess can like be controlled. Like I texted you guys Friday. I was in my office till probably like 7:45 p.m. and it wasn't because I was working hard, but it was because of an issue that needed to be resolved. It wasn't because I was like, it wasn't like work. It was work related, but it was an issue, so it could have been avoided. And unfortunately, my team gets roped into big tech issues when they happen. So I was literally Friday on the phone with me, my head of tech, my head of sales, their boss, my boss, from probably 2 p.m. until probably 7:30 p.m. when I left the office, just nonstop on a Zoom meeting, just crisis managing. So Friday was hell, and then the rest of the week was fairly slow. Romulus was the big, obviously, release that I got to see, and we'll talk about it in a bit. But I had a great time with it. But we'll discuss that soon. Had an engagement party in Brooklyn yesterday, so Victoria and I were in Brooklyn pretty much all afternoon into the night. We're not typically in Brooklyn. We don't typically go out to Brooklyn, so nice change of pace, nice change of vibes. And then that's it. ReelTok today. I texted you guys this a while ago. I'm like feeling way more comfortable with I guess my physicality and my body. So I've been really going at the gym. Not like really going at it, I would say, going at it as much as I can stomach right now. Yeah, as much as I can, but I feel a lot better. Stomach doesn't hurt as much. I still get winded quickly, which sucks. I've been trying to run a little bit more at the gym, or even like incline walk as much as I can, but the conditioning still not there. But the weightlifting, awesome. I went into my doctor on Tuesday or Thursday, whenever I saw him, and he sees me and he's like, "Man, you're looking bigger, quicker. He asked me if I was basically taking like testosterone injections, and I was like, no, but I really appreciate that compliment. So yeah, that was a nice, I guess, cautious compliment of a doctor just making sure his patient is not taking steroids that he shouldn't. But that was pretty much it. That was my week.
I've given up on gym,
What do you mean you've given? What?
I've been to the gym once in the past 2 weeks, I think.
Why?
I'm running all the time. I'm loving it, bro.
You're still doing okay.
I'm
gave
like
up on.
No. I'm running like 4 or 5 times a week. I'm fucking.
How much are you running?
Not much. My cardio, like I'm very much a like fast twitch sprinter. My thing's always been like weightlifting and stuff. So it's easy to do that. Power and sprinting. So my long distance or cardio is not the one. So I'm just doing like 4 or 5Ks, stuff like that.
Are you running outside or are you running?
Yeah. Treadmill? It started in the treadmill, but I'm like, this is so fucking boring. Just
terrible.
I just go down to like, it's so bad. So I just go down like a park that's near us. It's quite nice. So I just go there every night because running outside, I feel like and everyone says this, but it's so true. When you do when you have like a really, really good run and you really push yourself, it's a euphoria. It's like a euphoric feeling that you can't explain. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's crazy hard.
I get. Yeah, it's like a very high feeling of accomplishment that, like, for some reason, like that feeling of accomplishment feels better after a run than after like whatever, like a hard day at work or something.
Yeah, it's weird. I think it's because it's just you pushing your body to like almost exhaustion. It's like when I used to like lift heavy all the time. Say if I did like a deadlift, PB or PR, whatever. Even that wouldn't grant me the same feeling because I'm going through miles of exhaustion at that point. Or for me, I am, relatively speaking. So yeah, running.
I'm pretty sure I've read somewhere where like running actually releases like something.
It does
release. Feel.
It does. It
like
releases serotonin.
high. Yeah,
it does release serotonin. Yeah,
where
it does.
gives you like that high feeling.
Well, any exercise does to a certain extent. I think that's why exercise is
Yeah.
so important for like mental health. Like if I didn't exercise at all, do you know what I mean? You'll notice, you know, like for example, Josh, when you were ill, or like say when you've been injured or something, you can't exercise.
Yeah, I couldn't work out.
Your mental health just takes this fucking dive.
Yeah,
Like, it's not
you
even
look
like
at
about
yourself.
it's not even about the like fitness or aesthetics sometimes or whatever. It's just about doing things.
It's just,
you know?
it's like, that's my, like, I get yelled at all the time by everyone in my life that I should be seeing a therapist. And I'm like, no, I go to the gym. I pop in my, I pop in my headphones. I blast music. I drown everyone around me out.
Exactly.
And I work out for whatever. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, whether I'm lifting, whether I'm fucking on a treadmill, doing an incline walk, watching Across the Spider-Verse for motivation. Doesn't matter. When I'm at the gym, that's it. That's my therapy.
Different.
Yeah. When I went, what was I? I was out of the gym from like October, middle of October. Yeah, until I guess more than 3 months, because I was because after surgery in February, I couldn't lift for. Technically, my surgery was in the middle of February. Technically, I was not supposed to lift for, I think it was like 3 or 4 months.
Wait, when was your final treatment?
The last week of December.
What?
Yeah,
time passes like
dude, time flies. Yeah, it's been I've been out of chemo for a while, but then I had surgery February, so March, April, May. We'll say middle of May is when I was supposed to be allowed to go back to the gym. I went back like beginning of April. And then whenever I texted you guys, like maybe like a month ago, where I texted you guys that I was like back, like actually like training hard, like the way I used to. But the months without the gym, dude, bugging out. I was going on long walks. I'm like, this fucking blows.
Doesn't hit the same.
No gym sucks. You look at yourself in the mirror every day, and you just, all those years of like hard working out through college and after college, just down the drain.
True.
Which is like the worst part of it, is that I felt like I had to start over, because
but you don't know. You never have to start over.
Yeah, you don't have to start over, but like that's just what it felt like. Like I was down to 145 pounds. I was out, close to 45 pounds. So shit sucks. But
true.
All right. That was right. I feel like every time I go through what I've been doing this week, I miss something big. But no, Romulus was the only like big thing that I really did this week. So take us through what you've been watching, Seth. I looked at your diary. A couple things I want to discuss.
Let's see. I mean, a lot of it's been alien related. Annoyingly, I couldn't get to a couple of the alien films, but I've seen them, so I should be able to discuss. No. All right. When did we last speak? So, Aliens. Oh no, I've spoken about that. Well, we're going to touch on that anyway. So
yeah, we'll
talk.
Vaccine.
I think I mentioned that scene last week, didn't I? Yeah, I did, because I spoke to you about it, because you hadn't seen it. You said, what's bad about it? And I said, what's bad about
it? True. I did question
Terminator 2. Wow.
Yeah, finally, dude. Thank you.
No. Do you know what's funny? That's my first, I think,
5-star on the rip.
First watch.
You
in
never do that.
3 months. Yeah. 4 months. I don't
know. For everyone listening. Cam, Tyler, and I have been pushing this man to watch Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Everyone has been pushing you to watch Terminator 2 Judgment Day since day one of this podcast.
No, I said it on. We did a segment where we were like 5.
Yeah. Like, what are the biggest movies we haven't seen? Yeah, and you said Judgment Day.
It was so good. Like, I just had such a. I don't know, man. It really, really like caught me off guard by how much I loved it. It makes me want to go back and watch the original, because I know the original is kind of more contained. The original, if I remember correctly, is kind of a little bit more horror focused in general, a little smaller scope, I guess. I think that Terminator 2 is like, and again, this is like such a cold take because everyone says it. It is the action, the sci-fi action like thriller almost. It is so good every time. the Terminator and like T-1000 are in the same vicinity, I was like, oh shit! Like the scene when I can't. What's her name? Sarah.
Sarah Connor.
Sarah,
Yeah.
Sarah Connor. When she's escaping like the hospital, when she's like running away, and then both T-1000 there and the sun's there, the Terminator's there, and the score just pounds every time Arnold comes out, and then sees the T-1000 cross, and then you've got all like the bit where they get into the elevator, but the guy just uses his fucking like
just walk
hand
through it, just fucking.
I think it was that like for me is like the perfect action blockbuster, similar to like a Dune, not in terms of what it is, but just in terms of how it, or Dune 2 even, how it expands the mythos from the first film and does it in such a perfect fashion where it just pinpoints everything good about it. And I think Terminator 2 is like the perfect like cat and mouse chase throughout. And also, like, to be honest, I went into this as well. Terminator 2 spoilers. So, bear in mind.
Spoilers for a movie 40 years old.
40? Is it 40? No.
When did it come out?
13 is like 32 years old.
Yeah, all right, close.
Yeah. Actually, when did it come out? Yeah, 91. Okay, don't mind. It really like subverted my expectations about Terminator as a character, because I only remember the first one, and obviously what happened in the first one compared to the second, that I really imagined it would go. In my head, I was like, I knew AC-1000 was a character, but I just anticipated it would be like him versus the Terminator to get to Sarah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But
I imagined it completely differently. Yeah,
dude, that's why the scene you just mentioned is one of my favorite scenes ever, because Terminator comes in and Sarah Connor's like freaking the fuck out, obviously, because
she's amazing.
That dude just
that guy just fucking like
tried to kill her.
Yeah.
So like she's trying to run away from the Terminator while the Terminator's trying to chase her to protect her from T-1000.
T-1000 behind the son's there just being a little shit.
Yeah, the son just a piece of fuck. Like,
There's actually some really in the first chase sequence as well, where Terminator grabs the son and then they go on like the motor or the highway, and oh my god, it's amazing. And it's uniquely like funny, because I think it brings the Terminator to like a really, it makes him like a really human character.
Yeah,
and that's what it did so well. So it really subverted my expectations. I didn't expect it to be as existential as it was, and as I didn't. Well, obviously, I just know from the first film, and I'm surprised I didn't know this. I just didn't know he'd be like the savior in the scenario. And the end scene is so good. And also even the opening scene.
The end scene, man, when he throws the thumbs up, man, that'll make any grown man cry.
Yeah, it was just perfect. I love my time. I think I'm gonna watch it again. I actually want to get Anna to watch it, because I think she'll really, really like it. And amazing.
Now all I need from you is updated sequels ranking. Of like every sequel ever. Like where would this go?
I mean, I imagine that, like, in terms of like second sequel, So
second movies. That's what I'm saying. Second movies. It's got to be.
I don't know how many I've got a 5. So I mean, the only ones I can think of that I've got a 5-star are like Spider-Man 2, what's it called? Lord of the Rings, Two Towers.
Right. Dune 2. What else? You've lowered Dark Knight, so not the Dark Knight. You've seen The Godfather 2, but I don't
Furiosa count, even though it's
Fury. That's a good question. That's a good question.
Kind of
I would not.
Probably third, honestly.
Yeah, it'd be very high for me too.
It is so good.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'd have The Dark Knight over it. I have Dune Part 2 over it. Unless I'm missing something massive, I think it would be 3. I used to have Aliens at a 5, but I did lower it to a 4.5 on rewatch.
I think it'd be 3
Two Towers. 2 Towers, I would put above it. I want to say
that's all my 5 stars. Yeah, that's all my 5. If we're counting Furiosa, because being the second film, even a prequel, I would have 5 second films at 5 now, so it would be in the top 5. I don't know why.
I mean, for me at least, Empire Strikes Back. I'd probably toss higher. Actually, would I? Yeah, I would. I would put Empire Strikes
I don't know, man. If I rewatch that again,
Terminator or Empire?
Terminator, maybe Empire. I love Empire, but Terminator is like the closest thing to me loving it. Terminator, I think it's going to be stuck in that middle ground where it's like third place because I don't think anything can reach Spider-Man 2 or Two Towers. Definitely not Two Towers anyway. But
I was going to say definitely not Spider-Man either.
Definitely not probably not Spider-Man. But like,
what about Scooby-Doo 2: Monsters Unleashed?
I want to watch that. Yeah, but like, probably not Spider-Man 2, but definitely not Lord of the Rings. I don't know if anything will ever overtake. It's just that point now, you know. It's just, never. What else did I watch? I watched. That's kind of it. Mean Streets, which obviously is our Patreon review of the week. Watched that this morning, so got that down. Spider-Man 3. Now, we were going to touch on Spider-Man 3 this episode. We can briefly, but
I'd rather wait. Yeah, I'd rather wait.
So I had the genius idea that I haven't even spoke to Cam and Tyler about it. I spoke to you about this. I think, and if you guys want to see this, obviously let us know that we should do, if we have like a quieter week coming up with releases.
Next week is a quiet week.
Is it?
Yeah, it wasn't Tyler texting us basically saying next week we got like nothing going on, so we should start brainstorming what we want to talk about. Because what are the big releases this week?
I have no idea. Maybe you're right actually.
Not Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
Yeah, Beetlejuice, isn't it? Or is that next week?
No. That's the beginning of September.
That's September, isn't it? Yeah.
But
I have no idea. I don't think anything else. I mean, maybe. Okay, fine. We're going to ask if we can do like a Spider-Man ranking because I think we all have different.
We have wildly different rankings.
All of us have different Spider-Man rankings, so that'll be fun. So yeah, we can cover that. But other than that, Game of Thrones finished season 6. About to started season 7. So we're going to see how that goes. I'll keep people updated on that. But other than that, that's kind of it.
All right, sweet. Me, this was kind of like one of my bigger movie watching weeks. I feel like the last couple of weeks I've been not watching a lot of movies, but this week killed a couple. We went through the Alien franchise. This week specifically, I watched Alien 3, Resurrection, Romulus, Prometheus, and Covenant. Couple of Scooby-Doo movies. Scooby-Doo meets Batman.
I want to watch that. I haven't seen that in years.
Dude, absolutely iconic. I was rewatching. This like unlocked some insane memories. I was watching this and I was like literally like Leonardo DiCaprio snap point to screen meme. I was like, wow, I remember that. And I was like almost getting teary-eyed. I was like, damn, like I remember all of this. And I haven't seen this since I was probably like 6 or 7.
I do that with Scooby-Doo, like the live action ones when I go back to them as well.
Yeah, and then I watched the live action Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters.
I can't believe you give that a 3. That is disrespectful.
It's not as good as the first one is better. The first one is
no Monsters Unleashed. You've got all, bro. Have you seen the monsters in that film? Like, there's no way the first one's great. Don't get me wrong, but like,
I like the first one better. But I mean, listen, they're both cheesy, but they're good. They're fun. I watched. All right, I made a TikTok video about this one, the Fantastic Four from 1994.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
A movie that technically had not been officially released, but through several bootleg versions, it has made its way to YouTube. Dude, it's so corny, so cheesy. But I said this in my Letterboxd review. It is basically like, I don't know. It's like a testament to comic book filmmaking in the 90s. It's fucking corny, but like it's very faithful to Fantastic Four lore and comic book storytelling. It's on YouTube. It's only an hour and a half. I mean, it's we're all talking about Fantastic Four a lot lately, obviously with the new Marvel news. So you might as well just check it out.
When you say comic book films in the 90s. I feel like 90s was a really not. What comic book films go out in the 90s? Batman Returns.
Batman Returns. Yeah, that was the first one that came to my mind.
Batman was 89, wasn't it? The first.
Yeah.
Forever and Robin, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. What else, man?
The 90s is kind of maybe. Did The Crow come out in the 90s?
Yeah.
I feel like The Crow is a very 90s film.
I don't know.
Yeah, The Crow came out in 94.
All right, yeah. 90s was a bad decade for comic book films. Tyler told me to watch Wet Hot American Summer, fun little coming of age movie about the last day of summer camp. Ton of fun, takes place in the 80s. Movie came out in 2001, stars Paul Rudd. Well, it doesn't star Paul Rudd, but Paul Rudd is in the movie. He's definitely the most, I would say, recognizable name. Bradley Cooper's in the movie, but very briefly. Very cute movie. Really fun. Just really fun, really nostalgic, I guess. You guys know I'm a big sucker for coming of age movies, and Wet Hot American Summer just kind of scratched that itch I wanted with like a new experience. Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, bangs, dude. Oh my god, I'm gonna start watching all of these random Batman crossover movies.
I want to watch more. I was thinking the Discord the other day. I want to watch more of the animated Batman ones. I've only seen 2.
Oh, which ones have you seen?
The main, Under the Red Hood and Mask of the Phantasm, which I both really liked as well. So they're both really good.
You don't really like?
No, I give both like a 4-star. I really like
I was gonna say Mask of the Phantasm's a 5-star for me. I think that's one of the best Batman films ever.
I think it's the best depiction of Bruce Wayne as a character in Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with that. What else could you watch? I would recommend watching The Flashpoint Paradox. That's another 5-star. That's one of my favorite. You should definitely watch The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2.
I added that to my list the other day, actually, because they're all like really short as well, aren't they? Like,
yeah, they're very quick. I have a list of the DC animated universe. Just run through like my highest rated, or just sort them by release order and just start from the bottom. Mean Streets, which we said will be our patron review on Friday. So if you guys want access to that, take a look at our patron. Victoria and I watched 17 again.
17 again.
Dude, that movie, the older I get, the more I watch it. That movie really...
It's just weird.
It's a weird movie. It really hovers a very questionable line of being charming and being really concerning.
Yeah.
Then I watched Hancock last night. Again, I texted you guys randomly. I was like, dude, I've been thinking about Hancock for a week now. I don't know why. I didn't see a TikTok edit. I didn't see one.
You not seen it before?
I had probably once a really, really long time ago.
Okay.
This was my first log of it in my Letterboxd years, so I haven't seen it in a long time. But dude, I can't post a movie review without someone bringing it back to Deadpool and Wolverine.
I told you that. I sent you that tweet yesterday, and I said you're going to be cursed with this forever. This is the exact reason I didn't watch that film, because I knew the same would happen.
It doesn't matter what I log. Even if I don't watch something superhero related, everything comes back to, oh, you gave this movie this and that, but you gave Deadpool and Wolverine a 1.5. And the first thought going through my head is, these are insane movies to compare. Don't do that. Like, someone commented that on my Alien Covenant review, the one you sent me. And I was like, dude, it's like, now we're just comparing two movies that should not be compared.
It's very weird. Yeah, it's very unusual. I don't really understand that at all.
Yeah, and now people are like, wow, this guy hates the MCU. It's like, no, I do like the MCU. I still like the MCU. I just don't like one movie, and I don't like some creative decisions they've made. But yeah, all right, that's
George. Do you know, since I logged Aliens, right, and I'll go on to this, right?
Well, did you get shit on?
By you.
Deservingly shit on.
I have had, right, like, so many of my reviews, I check back, it's like, bro gave Aliens this and gave this, and it would be like a review for, like, I know one was like Covenant, that's whatever, fair enough, whatever. But I can't remember what the other one was now. I think it was Spider-Man 3 or something, I can't remember. But
yeah, people just start comparing bullshit movies.
Like, and also, right, when I, because you know what it's like, if you do a review for something, a film that's just released, and you like, because you do it early, it gets like one of the popular ones. So it's on like the top 5, whatever.
Yeah.
It's always a recipe for disaster when that happens.
Terrible.
Yeah, also, if it's a negative one as well, it's like the worst thing happening in the world.
Dude, I texted you guys this like 2 weeks ago. I was like, yo, I'm losing followers insanely fast. And
Mm-hmm.
I've lost 2,000
On
followers
Letterboxd? Oh, on TikTok.
in probably 7 days, ever since I posted that video
I knew that would
about
happen.
Deadpool and Wolverine. People do not like that I do not like a really shitty movie.
It is weird, like, because when I go on the comments of that now, that Romulus review, people are like, but bro hated aliens. You know, you can't listen to his review. I did not hate aliens. Like, just read the review.
Like insane. Also, people act like I'm just shitting on Deadpool and Wolverine just to shit on it, as if I didn't write a fucking novel on Letterboxd explaining every little bit of detail on why I dislike that movie. If I logged Deadpool and Wolverine with a 1.5 and my review was something short like this movie sucks,
like mine.
Like, shit on me. I don't care. But dog, I wrote a 6-paragraph,
you wrote a novella.
novel.
You were shitting out with a novella. That was
insane.
Crazy.
Like, everyone that commented on that Letterboxd review negatively, I would bet my life they did not read that review.
Oh, 100%.
Insane. But all right, let's get to the meat of the episode, which is going to be our Alien Romulus review, as well as our Alien franchise. I'll call it deep dive, but I don't think we're going to spend too much time on each individual movie, except for Romulus, really. But Seth, we'll start with you. Spoiler-free thoughts on Alien Romulus.
Yeah, I'll hold on, let me get up the synopsis as well. So Alien Romulus, while scavenging the deep ends of a derelict space station, a group of young space colonizers come face to face with the most terrifying life form in the universe. Alien Romulus. A lot has been made about this film so far. Did not anticipate it to be this polarizing, to be honest.
Did not. Crazy.
Yeah, weird. Like, it's the opposite of Trap for me, where so the average rating's a 3.7. I think my friend's is like a 3.1, but it's like got 4.5, so it's got 1, so it's kind of wild. Alien Romulus. I've already said this. You've probably seen, if you listen to this or watching this, you've probably seen my reviews already. It was a massive, massive disappointment for me. I think it does a lot of things well, but I think it also does a lot of things that I don't like. And what I also boil it down to is just kind of what you prefer at this point and what direction you want to see the Alien films take. The biggest negative I can give towards Alien Romulus is the lack of risks it managed to take. Now, regardless of whether you like, Resurrection or Alien 3, like I watched Alien 3, I don't like Alien 3, George doesn't, or Prometheus or Covenant or even Aliens, the standard progression within the Alien franchise is that every film has tried to do something different, whether worked or not, has taken the thematics and the concept from the original Alien films, but then furthered it into something more and managed to expand it in the universe. Alien Romulus doesn't do that. Now, that was kind of said upon release that Fede Alvarez wanted to kind of merge Aliens and Alien, whatever. If that's his crazy decision, because I think Fede Alvarez is like a very capable director. I think this film it's pretty well structured. It's a decently structured blockbuster. And we've seen previously that one of the main reasons I was so excited for this because I really like his Evil Dead from 2013, and I also like Don't Breathe was pretty cool as well. So I know he's a good director and I know he's capable, but my issues came from the lack of integrity. Obviously, sometimes obviously one thing we'll bring up, and I'm sure we'll speak about this, is the main thing. Kind of a spoil. I'll say this. You know what I'm about, obviously, but there is like I mentioned in my review, like a really baffling callback that it's just not needed in the grand scheme of things, and I think the film could have massively done without. I think it is essentially kind of a rehash of the original film. As I said in my review, it fails to kind of have its own identity in the franchise, which I've liked what others managed to do. Saying that, there are some classically alien-driven thrills. I think the Xenomorph looked really, really cool, and the last act I'm not sure on, but I think that's where the more swing approach was taken. That was kind of wacky and weird. It was actually, now I said this in my review, and I should have phrased it differently. It wasn't a tame film by any means. Like, it was still gruesome, but it was tamer than I imagined from the director of Evil Dead 2013. It was just a bit of a tamer than I anticipated. I think that the cast are fine. I think Kaylee Swaney, and especially David Johnson, is fantastic in Alien Romulus. I think they both portray, like I think I said in my review, like a full range of fear and terror. And I think David Johnson is the perfect synthetic one that can express their emotions, but also understand, their direction. Obviously, that's a main theme throughout the film. Practical work as well. Forgot to mention practical work is really, really cool. Obviously, I always favor practical work. It's like, if you're gonna do practical work, don't do what you did in the middle of the film or throughout the film. We'll bring that later. But yeah, it was a bit of a disappointment for me, to be honest, because and again, this just comes down to what I want from the Alien franchise. I just wanted to push it further, not kind of a slew of these references, which I don't need. A couple really annoyed me. I'm sure you'll know which ones they are. Like a couple of quotes. I was like,
the one annoyed the shit out of me too. I will say. We'll get to that in spoilers. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Everyone's already spoke about it already, but a 2.5 from me. Didn't hate it. Didn't really like it. But obviously, I won't say where it fits into the Alien.
Yeah, we'll do our rankings after our deep dive.
I also think as well, it's hard to. I don't think this is like a lot of people have been calling like this is just like Disney drivel. I actually don't think so. I think this was done with care, and I think a lot went into this.
Yeah,
but I just think the amount of reference. It's not as it's not
as egregious as something like a Deadpool and Wolverine is. With
I haven't seen it. So
probably not true. You haven't seen
it. It's always going to be hard, and I think it's just like you need to find your own way. You need to do your own thing. And if you're going to throw in all these references, you have to understand that people it's always going to be hard for people to see it as to balance it between like homage, which are fine, in a franchise it's going to happen, and like copy and paste ridiculousness, just blatantly, obviously, some moments. It's hard to balance that, but I don't think it's like, I don't think it's like yet the MCU-ification of like the Alien franchise. I think it could be on its way to do so if we carry on like this, but I don't think we're there yet. But it was a disappointment for me anyway.
I don't know. I don't. Kit Laser actually posed a good question on Twitter not too long ago, and he was basically like, when is a movie paying homage and when is it just copying and pasting? Like, how do you make the distinction? And the first answer that went through my head is, if you like the movie, it's paying homage. If you dislike the movie, it's very easy to say it's a copy and paste.
Yeah, it's like if you like the trajectory it takes. Also, it's like the frequency of it as well, isn't it? It's if you.
Yeah, I don't like everyone saying like this is the MCU-ification of the Alien franchise, because I don't think Fede Alvarez would do that. I genuinely think Fede Alvarez was like, I have an opportunity here to make an Alien movie and just go back to its roots of it being a horror film. With that, obviously came a couple of callbacks that didn't necessarily land for me. But I personally, and I guess we can move on to my spoiler-free thoughts, I had a great time with it. Like, Fede Alvarez is a horror director. You know how much I love Evil Dead Rise. I'm so close to arguing that as being my favorite Evil Dead movie. It's number 2 right now behind Evil Dead 2, but
might be number 2 for me as well, actually.
Yeah, I plan on rewatching the whole franchise, during our horror season. And I think it could genuinely move up to number 1. I absolutely love that movie. But yeah, he's a horror director, and from like my POV, what I saw while watching this movie is you have a guy who is a horror filmmaker through and through. He wants to play around with these practical effects. You saw him do it with Evil Dead Rise. There's no better franchise to do that in right now than the Alien franchise. So I had a really good time with it. I said this in my TikTok review, regardless of what I think of each Alien movie. I love the first 2. I don't love the subsequent 2. And then I really like Prometheus and Covenant, which we'll get to. But regardless of whether I like or dislike an Alien movie, one thing that just remains consistent is the aesthetic. Love it. I love that every film just feels dirty. Every film feels like this world has been lived in. It is so just intoxicating. It can be claustrophobic. I love, and I think Owen said this in his TikTok, I love when we're in space and then we're like off a spaceship. I love seeing like a balance between being, the first Alien movie in space on a spaceship the entire time. Then you get to fucking Aliens and you're off the spaceship, and then you're back, to Alien 3 and you're on like a space station or something,
prison,
or just another prison, whatever. But I love this world. It's truly, I think Alien Romulus just helped elevate it to being just one of my favorite science fiction worlds, just to continuously revisit. You mentioned Kaylee Spaney and David Johnson. I'll just echo that sentiment. They are fucking fantastic. David Johnson is absolutely the standout, I would say. As much as I love Kaylee Spaney, he's the scene stealer. I was so, and it goes beyond his performance. It goes it goes back to the writing around his character. I think these droids or androids or whatever they're called in these movies, they carry so much intrigue. And actually, that was going to be a spoiler, so I'll save that for down the line. But yeah, a big part of my love of Prometheus and Covenant is David and what's his name, and Walter in Covenant. Like he's maybe, both of them are maybe my favorite characters. I love these droid things. I think they carry so much intrigue, and I think David Johnson as what was his name in the movie? Shit. Kaylee Spaney's name was Rain. His name was something with an A, I think. Andy, maybe. Either way.
Andy,
I think
it was Andy.
The character of Andy does a really good job at just like taking over the mantle of being like that droid character from Michael Fassbender. Obviously tough shoes to fill, but I think David Johnson fucking killed it. And then the horror elements. Like I said, I love the practical work. We'll talk about that final act when we get to spoilers. I loved it. That's kind of what elevated my score from, as I was watching the movie, I was teetering on a 3.5. And then once that final act came, I was like, wow, that's such an awesome play. That's such a subversion of my expectations. And it elevated it to that 3.5 I give. Really eager to watch this again. I had a really good time with it. Seeing this, there's such the experience of watching movies in IMAX versus not IMAX is insane for the sound design alone.
I didn't get IMAX.
Dude, my body was shaking sometimes. The sound design on this movie was so insane.
Well, here's a question going off. Did you find it? Because I've seen, and like Chris Kitley said this as well on his tweet, and I've seen so many people saying the same thing about kind of the jump scare moments. Did anything get you? I didn't. And again, I get scared by things. I get scared.
One of them got me, but it's spoiler, so we'll save it for one of the big one.
Okay, the face.
Sure. No.
The hugger one?
No.
Oh, not that one.
It's a big spoiler, so we'll save it for spoilers. But one jump scare did get me.
Okay, yeah.
But again, I don't think that jump scares are not that's not Fede Alvarez's craft. Like even if you watch Evil Dead Rise, there's not a lot of jump scares. He's gonna frighten you with like gross imagery and just like
he didn't do Evil Dead Rise though, to be fair. So
what?
Definitely. He didn't do Evil Dead Rise though, to be fair.
I mean Evil Dead. My bad.
Yeah.
Wow, I've been saying Evil Dead Rise this entire podcast.
No, you haven't. You've been saying Evil Dead. I'm pretty sure.
Have I? Oh, all right. Yeah. My bad. I've been saying Evil Dead. I thought I did. Then when I was talking about my second favorite Evil Dead movie, I meant Evil Dead Rise.
Really?
Yeah. Not Fede Alvarez's. So I was my bad.
Where's Fede Alvarez then?
I was mixing up which one he directed. Honestly,
do you not like Fede Alvarez? That's sad.
I do like his Evil Dead movie.
You best.
I rate it higher than Romulus.
Oh, you got it at 4?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay,
but again, either way, it doesn't matter what we're talking about. Both the Evil Dead movies, they're not scary because of their jump scares. They're scary because of just their grotesque imagery. Like they're fucking gross to look at.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Romulus succeeds beautifully. Absolutely loved and I mean, this isn't a spoiler. If you go into an Alien movie, you can expect it. The stomach scene, gross in this one, man. Absolutely disgusting. And then the following like 20 minutes of watching the alien like birth itself, I guess. So cool to watch. Just like
which is the better stomach scene, Romulus or Prometheus? In terms of just like weirdness.
I think Covenant has the best one.
Yeah, but that's not even a question.
Yeah, Covenant from the back has the best one. God, out of the back, man, that shit was gross. I was rewatching that literally yesterday. I was like, this is so disgusting. Alien has the most iconic just because it was like the first one to do it. But I think
I still watch Alien. I'm like,
it's gross. Yeah.
The way it's set up, though, was so, and again, we'll go on to this, so perfect in the original Alien. I know it's easy to say because it was like the first one.
Yeah.
But just everything that happens, all the events around that, and then the lead up to it, it's just perfect in every way. Yeah, it's crazy.
I think, listen, I don't think there has been a bad stomach birthing scene in any of the Alien movies. But I think Romulus was sick. I mean, she puts like the X-ray thing to her back, and you see this thing just like beating the shit out of her chest from the inside. Despicable, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are our pretty much overall thoughts on Alien Romulus. I sat at a 3.5. Seth sat at a 2.5. They didn't watch it? No, right?
No,
I don't think I remember them. Yeah, they were both away at that point. But all right, let's talk spoilers. And if you don't mind, I'd like to skip ahead just to the end. But is there anything big you want to talk about?
Well, I think we should probably mention the thing that is kind of the one of the main things that's putting people off the most, and that was obviously we're in spoilers now.
But hold on, let me toss the spoiler tag on before we do this. Sorry, Tyler's not here, and I've been forgetting to do all of this.
We haven't needed it yet anyway.
Spoiler tag is on for Alien Romulus. Check the timestamps if you have not seen it, and just skip ahead.
Yeah, I mean the big thing is the deep fake Ian Holm. That's like the main thing. It's a really difficult one, man, because I kind of hated it. When it first came on screen, I, as well as you, and I texted you about this, and everyone knew because we'd all seen this rumors circulating on Twitter and stuff.
Unavoidable spoilers, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was we all saw it. When I saw that news, I anticipated it be him having like this really small callback role. And not this
coming integral,
back. Yeah, and not this kind of integral part. And it's like the issue is with this, aside from the fact using an actor who recently passed away, I think in like 2020 without their permission. Aside from that, is that there isn't really a reason for him to actually be there. In that another just living actor could have played that role pretty much, and that's the difficulty with it. And I feel like the reason they put it there is for this kind of applause. And my fucking
my theater applauded.
I know you fucking
my theater applauded that.
I was sat with my friend, and we just like as soon as he came on screen, we saw him. We were like,
I was like, oh, that's tough. What makes it tough? Listen, it's that character serves its purpose. Like he's there for a lot of exposition. Like he's there, but my problem is like, if the whole point of his appearance was just to like show that like it's a David and Walter situation where it's two characters played by the same actor, and it's just showing that these androids, whatever things look alike. So if that's the whole point you're trying to get at, like, why wouldn't you just bring back Michael Fassbender, as a different character, not as David, not as Walter? Like you could have brought him back as someone else. Like I don't think.
Yeah.
Again, it's
using a dead actor. Like, what we doing?
It is questionable. It is questionable. It's definitely part of the reason my rating is being held back because, like you said, he just kept coming back.
Like I thought it would be, so the first conversation they have is they see his like half body, I guess.
Yeah.
And they plug him back in, so to speak, because they need answers for whatever. And they do that, and he has, they have a conversation with him. Okay, cool. I was like, oh, that's fucking horrible. I hated that. But it's fine because he won't come back.
No.
He comes back multiple times.
Dude.
He's in the film as well.
And he doesn't only like come back. He's like he moves the plot forward. Like he changes
he's an integral role.
He changes Andy's directive at one point, which completely flips Andy's character, which is a big moment in the movie. It's like every time he would talk, next scene would come up, and I was like, okay, fine, whatever. And then he would just keep coming back. Even at the end when he's like, they're watching him through like a TV screen, and I'm like, he's still there, like he's still coming back. And
because that's why it's bad, isn't it? Because it's like, besides how morally incorrect and
So
stupid this is. It's not
here's a
useful.
question for you.
Yeah.
What if we find out that Ian Holmes, who's the character that plays that, rest in peace.
Yeah.
What if we find out that the Holm estate, his family, gave Fede Alvarez and this production the okay?
Well, I think they did, but I still think it's a really, really difficult one because I think again you're not getting his okay because he's not able to do so, and you are quite literally using him and you're using his image, and it's as well as it being a deep fake as well, whatever. But I get what you mean because, and I assume they definitely will have done. Like they definitely would have got permission from like a home state or whatever, and I imagine that will be the case. But again, it's like you can't get his permission, and what I just said, it's not even even looking past the moral quandaries that surround this. It's not even like integral to the story. He doesn't even need to be there. It doesn't need to be him, which is the worst thing about it.
It could have been.
You just put him there, so people would look at him and be like, "Oh, remember Alien?" And this is the issue that I had with like Doctor Sleep, for example. Weird comparison. You know when we go back to the Overlook Hotel and Doctor Sleep?
Haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck off. I would say, but the issue is like I feel like this is a moment where it's like, remember Alien? Whereas Doctor Sleep has these moments. It doesn't use a deep fake or anything like that, but it's like, remember Shining? And it's so cheap and it wasn't, and as well, Ian Holm didn't die that long ago either.
No, it was not even half a decade ago.
It was like 4 years ago, whatever.
But again, like the quickest criticism I thought of this that I saw of this movie when it first released was its fan service. Outside of Ian Holm and outside of the one obvious line drop that we both. Stay away from her, you bitch, or whatever the fuck.
No. It was stay away from her, you.
Oh yeah,
bitch.
Pause, bitch. And
it was like
also
Sydney said in her review. I don't know if you saw it. She was like, the guy may as well have like looked at the camera and winked before he said it.
Yeah.
It was like, what are we doing? That was crazy.
Yeah, that again, like I didn't see this whole production and this whole movie as being like this fan service bit. I think there were some fun callbacks to the original 2 Alien movies. But Ian Holm appearing and the stay away from her, you bitch, were the 2 moments where I was like, didn't need that. Like that's very clear fan service. I didn't like it. I'm obviously very critical of like fan servicing moments if they just don't fit like he could have said anything. He could have just, I don't know. He could have done something for like the new generation. Like he didn't.
But what was the reaction in your cinema when
my cinema applauded. My cinema.
Yeah, it was like, and I was like face palming, and everyone was around me.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sitting there like, God, I hated that. But like my cinema was applauding. So like, listen, they got what they wanted. They got their applause. But like, I think he could have said something cooler, or not cooler, just different for like just for a new generation of Alien fans. Like he could have just been like, don't fucking touch her, you idiot, or something. Like he didn't have to say, stay away from her, you bitch. Which also, every time I hear that, I think of Miss Weasley in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, where she's like, stay away from my daughter, you bitch. But yeah, those were the 2 like clearest cut. This is fan service, and me personally, I didn't like it. I said this in my TikTok review. I'm happy that the movie does a lot of other things really well, where the fan service, that those 2 bits we just talked about, they don't hold as much of a negative as I like maybe think they could have. Like if Fede Alvarez did not succeed in his horror, if that 3rd act didn't blow me away as much as it did, could have easily seen this movie being a 2.5 or a 3. But I think he does other things very well in this movie that like they don't make me forget about these fan service movies. Because, dude, how do you forget about CGI deepfake Ian Holmes? I mean, dude, his lips moving just made me so uncomfortable.
It is weird to look at, isn't it? Like when it's such a fucking weird thing.
It's weird because like it looks real, but like it's not. So then you're focusing. Like I was focusing on like the wrinkles on his forehead,
the mouth movements,
like,
the
mouth. Like I was like really like dissecting this man, and I was like, this just looks so weird. And again, like you said, like he just kept coming back like over and over and over
Well,
again.
this is the thing, isn't it? It's like what you said earlier. It's like, can you? I think this is like a decently structured horror blockbuster. There are obviously elements in the story that I didn't like, and that's the fact that I don't think it carves its own identity. I think it's very much similar to within its plot points to Aliens, especially when you've got those moments. But then again, it's like if you can look past that, I don't think this is like a really negatively structured. I don't think this is a poorly structured film in that I think it's there to serve a purpose. The purpose it serves is not for me. You know what I mean?
I think you said it best in your spoiler-free section where you said like this movie isn't. You didn't say this part, but this movie isn't offensively like bad. It's just taking zero risks.
Which is like what I value a lot with anything.
Exactly. Even me, but again, like I do think that last act is a risk. It's a cool version of my expectations, but like prior to that, the other hour and 50 minutes of this movie, it is very clear cut. This is an alien movie. We're going back to our horror roots. We're going to do it practically because we have fun doing it practically. And you're either just going to enjoy your time with it and you're going to enjoy this alien cat and mouse chase, or you're not. It kind of, like you said, again, every alien movie, the biggest standout of this franchise, that every movie just feels so different, feels so separated. Every movie is taking its own risk of sorts within this franchise. Whereas, again, I'll bring up Kit Laser. He tweeted something funny where he was like, Alien Romulus spoilers without context. And it was just the four like posters of Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection. And I thought that was fucking hilarious because like, even for me, I like this movie. I very much enjoyed it. It's sitting in my top 10 of the year right now. I can completely... Is it in my top 10? No, I think it's just outside my top 10. But anyways, I like this movie to the point of it being close to my top 10. But even I can look at it and be like, yeah, this movie does not take risks. Like Fede Alvarez, The Evil Dead 2013, that's a risk. That's an insane movie. That's an insane direction to take a franchise, where this Evil Dead Romulus, Jesus Christ, where this Alien Romulus just feels very standard in execution. But again, there's nothing offensively bad about it. Like I had a really good time with this movie.
Here's a question. I know you want to cover the ending. We'll go next. It's difficult because I actually sort of liked this film a little bit more as it went on. I actually didn't like much of the first initial part. So when we're on sort of ground level, well, theoretically speaking, and you know, and then that we're kind of getting an introduction to Andy, to Rain, meeting their friends, whatever. There was a lot of moments in there that kind of felt like these really, really rushed moments of exposition that were kind of really just flung at you out of nowhere. And I think that's the issue with the synthetic characters. It can come across that way. So, for example, there was a moment, right, where so they just get on the ship. They just take the ship, right? And I'm gonna find his name. The Spike guy, the really English fella. What was his name?
Yeah.
Bjorn was really like, he was a massive, like, basically dickhead to Andy.
Yep.
And then it's like, you
find out that like his parents died.
And it was like this throwaway. It's like, oh, by the way, his brother or his parents, whatever it was, like family member died because of synthetic. And then Rain's like, oh, but synthetics can't harm humans. And then she's like, well, they can if it's saving the life of others. And I feel like there were a lot of moments like that in the first half of an hour. It was very throwaway pieces of exposition. Yeah. And I'm not going to say how you can do that further within the runtime that you have, but I feel like it's also kind of, I feel like it's just cheap because like, okay, you've got one guy who hates synthetics. Here's why immediately. Yeah. And then that's all you kind of find out about that character for the rest of the time. Until he goes. And again, it's not the be all and end all, but I think like those moments kind of.
I get, like, I think that again, like at its core, this is a horror movie about an alien xenomorph just trying to hunt down humans. But I think, Fede Alvarez didn't want that to be his entire movie. He tried to add like these these emotional moments, you immediately get thrown in with Rain and Andy, and Rain, like, she finished her hours, but then they doubled the hours. they added another 14,000 hours. So then you get to like the spaceship where they're
and
like,
he gets beat up like next to her, remember, by like some random guy.
and then Andy gets his ass kicked because people don't like synthetics. So I think there's a very like clear attempt at adding like some emotional core as well as just some like, I guess, conflict between all of our main characters. It doesn't bother me as much that maybe like those like emotional bits or the conflict wasn't necessarily like fleshed out as much as I would have liked it to be, because I went into this movie expecting aliens hunting down humans, and that's what I got. I will say the one emotional moment that genuinely, like, I don't want to say shook me to my core, but it did, like, it really affected me. I don't know why. I was sitting there, I was like, wow, that's painful. Like, that's tough, is when the guy's girlfriend is inside the room with the xenomorph and they're begging Andy to open the door and he's just not doing it. And dude, I think that was such a brilliantly constructed scene, because she's banging on the door. She's like, please open this door. Please open this door.
Yeah.
You see the xenomorph, man. It just keeps cutting back to
like
the xenomorph.
Crouching behind her.
Dude, crawling behind her. Andy is like, if I open that door, the xenomorph is waiting for it, and he will come out and fuck us up. So he makes the executive decision, I guess, to not open the door, and then the xenomorph just attacks this woman. And Kaylee Spaney's character, Rain, as well as the other guy, dude, you can just visibly see how shook they are. And like, I'm sitting in my chair, I'm like, wow, that was tough to watch. That was a brutal death scene.
We didn't mention he gets like a new whatever it's called, like chip or mode or whatever, because he gets a new like director, and he can like he can anticipate exactly what's there and what's to come.
Exactly.
And it is basic sense as well, because the xenomorph is like 5 meters behind her. So if they open that door with the speed that those doors open and close,
and the xenomorph can move, bro.
Yeah,
the
xenomorph, so it makes sense.
Zooms.
Yeah.
But yeah, which again, massive credit to David Johnston's acting ability, because he's kind of playing two characters. He's playing, first Andy, which is this very innocent, very loving guy whose entire directive is
his purpose is Rain,
protect Rain, or do whatever is best for Rain. And then they give him and then they give him a new chip because they need him to like access the Romulus's drive.
Cool little, it kind of looks kind of cool, when they put it in.
Every time they like popped it out, like I felt it in the back of my head.
It was weird.
I was like,
I found it quite satisfying the way it's just really smooth,
Yeah,
it looks really cool. I like that. Yeah.
But yeah, then David Johnston, they like give him a new chip so that he can access the Romulus ship's drive, and that chip turns him into a fucking douchebag. And then Ian Holmes' character changes his directive to do what's best for the company.
Which is like a whole overarching theme of just any alien film.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, David Johnston, man, he's playing two characters essentially, and he's doing it so well, man. He's so good. I haven't seen Rye Lane.
I was going to ask you if you watched that. Yeah.
No, and I haven't seen Industry either, that TV show that he's in. So I was very unfamiliar with David Johnston going into this. But what he showed me in Romulus makes me want to immediately watch Rye Lane, makes me immediately want to watch Industry. He's good. He's really
It's very impressive that like I've only seen two things. And Rye Lane is like a very, it's a rom-com. But he's really good in it. He's very, very, very funny. But it's very different, you know what I mean? And even in the first, he's very early on in his career. So he's been in 2 films and 1 TV show, I think. Okay. And to show those 2 differences and ability to showcase a performance, whether quiet and intimate or more kind of funny. I guess he was quiet in the original. But yeah, it's different. And he is like, he's like the typical one to watch now. Yeah. If he gets booked in something now, I want to see it. Like
you will be sad. Yeah.
For me, it's like maybe not to the quite same extent, but it was like when I watched After Sun. And I was like, okay,
Paul Mescal, and you're like, okay, Paul Mescal is the guy. Yeah. Now I think that with David Johnston, like this is a good actor. Like we know what Kaylee Spaney is capable of. She's proved herself time and time and again, regardless of what you think of Civil War. I know a lot of people don't like that movie. Kaylee Spaney is not the problem. I promise you.
As well. She's so good in that.
Yeah, like she's a fantastic actress. And going into this movie, I was like, this is going to be the Kaylee Spaney show. Like, she's going to take on the mantle of the final girl from Sigourney Weaver. She's going to carry this Alien franchise into its next generation, which she did. I did not think someone else in this production was going to match how amazing she was, and even to an extent pass it, because I think I would rank.
Yeah, I think he was
Johnson.
The star of the
I
show.
think he was easily my favorite performance of this entire movie. He was so fucking good. And then even beyond like the performances alone, I just loved the relationship between the two of them in this movie, between Rain and Andy. I think it's so sincere. It was so wholesome. I think they both played the that was probably my favorite conflict of the movie, is when the scene I was just talking about, when he wouldn't open the door, Rain turns around and goes, why would you do that? And you can like see like a switch just flip where she's like, wow, like who the fuck is this? And then speaking, just another scene I want to bring up before we get to the end, dude, the zero gravity scene, so electric, man, so electric.
Yeah, and then they ruined it with that quote.
With what? Wait, what they ruined it
with the quote? Was that on the same scene?
No. I'm talking about the one where they're trying to like a bunch of aliens are coming.
And then they're like, she turns it off. Yeah.
And when she turns it off, she's just mowing them down. And then she has to like navigate her way through this acidic blood or whatever it is. Dude, such a good scene.
That was kind of wild. That's a difficult one for me, because I don't know if I loved that or I didn't like it. In terms of just like, it was crazy. Like, she just started like, well, yeah, because you love aliens, for example.
I do like aliens, yeah.
Where it's like you have this sole heroic figure that's just mowing them down, and it's cool to watch. But I don't know if that's like the alien I love. But it was cool, that scene, and kind of the build up to it, and when she turns it off, and then they just kind of float, and then she's just like popping them off. It was crazy.
Dude, it was so cool. But all right, let's hold on.
Do you want to touch on the ending?
Yeah. I want to bring up the character's name before I do. Okay, so there's a character in the movie named Kay, played by. Wait, is this her? Hold on. I might be. Yeah. The character of Kay. The character of Kay. What happened exactly to her? So they find her. So she's the one that was behind the door. And we, like 2 scenes later, we find out that she did survive that. And like she's being kept in like the xenomorph's nest, I guess.
Yeah.
So they take her down, and eventually what we find out is that there's this injection, this whatever it is, this injection. They don't know what it'll do to you, but she takes the risk and she takes it because she needs to heal herself. She's dying. She will die.
It's a healing. Whatever.
Yeah, they say it's some healing, some whatever, superhuman, blah, 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 Captain America serum, whatever you want to call it. What ends up happening is she gives birth to this like xenomorph egg. And
Prometheus looking engineer.
Yeah. And then out of the egg comes a baby, right? Dude. So the baby ends up growing up very quickly. This thing grew up.
That guy shot up crazy.
Dude, shot up fast. And he's a human. He's like a half, what is he? Like a half human, half xenomorph? But he's a dude. He literally looks like a demented Slenderman. Like that's the only thing that was going through my head.
Looked like a skinnier version of the end of the thingies from Prometheus, man.
But
it was so weird.
Dude, the reveal of his character too, where he's just like, hold on, who was in the scene? Was it Kaylee Spaney? And then I don't think it was Kaylee Spaney. I think it was still Kay's character. And
but she goes back. Oh, do you mean the initial reveal of him?
The initial reveal where like the camera pans over into that hallway and the lights are flickering. And when the lights flicker on, you see this motherfucker. And dude, my theater like audibly gasped. We were like, oh, what the fuck? And then, so the creepiest thing is he crawls up this thing huge. This guy had to be 7'5". Put him in the league, center, throw him lobs all day. But he crawls up to K.
Yeah.
And for a split second, not even a split second, for like a lingering like 2 minutes, I was like, that's his mom, technically. Like, that's his mother. So like,
it was like watching Barbarian again.
Yeah, literally. So I was like, is he gonna not kill her? Like, is he gonna like sniff her and like try to hug her? But no, then obviously he tears her to pieces. But the jump scare I was talking about, so the subsequent like 10, 15 minutes of the movie is Kaylee Spaney and this thing, whatever you want to call it, just going back and forth. Like they're not fighting each other, but like they're trying to outmaneuver each other because he's trying to kill her, she's trying to kill him and survive. So what does she do? What does she do? She uses the acidic blood and bursts a hole in the ship.
Yes.
This
and then it's just like
this thing goes out, right?
Yeah.
And she's dangling by a wire to the ship because she attached herself. The jump scare that got me was when he reappears.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He I'm remembering.
Yeah. The camera is very uncomfortably personally close to Kaylee Spaney. Right? And then the camera pans down into space. And once the camera pans, this dude shoots up. I damn near shit myself like that. And again, I say on this podcast all the time, it's a big reason I don't like Immaculate. I don't like jump scare horror, but this was like the only moment in the movie where jump scare was used, and it was done so well. Like, it was so awesome because I was like, yeah, that dude's dead. He just got shot out into space, and nope, came back. But yeah, that third act, that's kind of like what elevated this movie from a 3 to a 3.5 for me.
Yeah, I get that.
That's the risk. That's the type of risk I wish the entirety of this movie took. I would have loved for that thing to have been birthed way sooner. Like, imagine if this whole movie, like, imagine if it was marketed as, you know, a xenomorph action film, but then the xenomorphs get killed off almost immediately, and the rest of the movie, the following hour and 15 minutes, was with this guy. Think about how sick that would have been. Like, that would have been an insane risk.
Yeah, it was definitely, that was kind of the biggest swing. It was impressive to see, and I think that, again, Fred Alvarez knows what he's doing. He's a very competent horror filmmaker, within that instinct, and I think it comes across. And yeah, I remember the jump scare. Now, the jump scare I thought you were thinking of, because I remember people gasped at this where I was. You know, what's her name? The first one who bites the dust.
Oh, the one that gets her stomach.
Navarro,
the alien Navarro.
Yeah. You know when like the initial face hugger like grabs her and it like flies up and like attaches to her face. That was one of the jump scares that got people. That in like my cinema. That's what.
Yeah, the face huggers didn't necessarily get me because I think they showed a lot of them in the trailer.
There were too many of them.
Yeah, there were a lot too.
Which like it's weird.
Which is fine. Like, that's what they are. Like, that's what the face huggers do. They jump and they attach to your face. Yeah. So it's very easy to like use that as like a repeated jump scare. I don't think they did it annoyingly repeatedly in this movie, but again, it was all over the trailers, so I don't think that jump scare necessarily got me as much as, you know, I had maybe hoped for. But all right, anything else on Romulus you want to discuss? Did we miss any like big moments?
I guess a big moment is when Thingy dies. That's kind of brutal.
Yeah.
Bjorn.
Yep.
When he initially dies was kind of brutal. I'm trying to think of what the deaths were. So obviously, the first one, which was that Navarro was her name.
Yeah, dude, so gross, man.
Yeah, those scenes are
the stomach scene, and you could tell it was done practically because like the stomach was opening very like, I guess, animatronically, but it was still disgusting, dude. And again,
have you seen some like behind the scenes of like the xenomorphs and stuff like that?
It looked cool. Crazy, man. I think this movie does the xenomorph like progression from baby to adult the best. Maybe that's a hot take, but I just, dude, it was so creepy. It was so disgusting. You watch the xenomorph go from a baby to like a medium-sized xenomorph to a full-grown, and the sound design, every time you saw it grow, I was like, this is sick. This is so cool. This is awesome.
Yeah, some of the close-ups are really good when like Kaylee's like first kind of in frontal position with one, like on one of the posters.
Yeah,
and they slowly like, edging towards her, and like it's the goo is dripping everywhere. You can hear the sounds, like you can hear the metal in the background. That was
good.
also, I think that was the moment, wasn't it, when the gravity comes back on. She falls, she's hooked by the xenomorph, and then that's where we get the worst moment in the fucking film where until that moment, that was cool. So I do think the xenomorphs look really, really good.
Stay away from her, you bitch, or what does he say? Don't touch her, you bitch.
No, he says stay away from you, bitch.
Yeah, it's some dumb shit. But all right, that's Alien Romulus, a 3.5 from me, a 2.5 from Seth. I would be obviously very curious to hear Tyler and Cam's thoughts on it. I'm assuming they're gonna watch it.
I don't think Cam will.
I feel like he's not a big horror guy, but has he not seen every other Alien movie? I feel like at this point...
He hasn't seen Prometheus, he hasn't seen Covenant, he hasn't seen... I think he's only seen, correct me if I'm wrong, Cameron, the first two, I think.
All right, so then maybe he won't watch it. I hope he does, but either way...
Tyler will, because it's got Kaylee Swaney in it.
Yeah, Tyler definitely will. But all right, let's move on. I'm going to turn the spoiler... Yeah, I'll turn the spoiler tag off. We're going to run through the entire Alien franchise, excluding Alien vs. Predators. You guys, listen, we're very active, obviously, on Letterboxd and TikTok and Twitter, so our thoughts are pretty out there on all.
We don't need to go into like crazy detail because we've got.
Yeah, we don't need to go into crazy detail, but we'll run through. I'll let you kick off. We're going to start with Ridley Scott's Alien, which I believe is both of our favorite of the franchise. Spoilers on our ranking, but I don't think that's even much of a spoiler. But I'll let you kick off. We're gonna talk spoilers on all of the Alien movies, guys. So if you haven't seen any of them, we're gonna throw a timestamp in the bottom with each individual movie. So skip ahead on the movies that you haven't seen. But Seth, I'll let you kick off.
Can we talk spoilers?
We don't have to.
I mean, okay, I guess pre-warning in case like a scene slips.
Yeah, all right. We'll say we're not going to make it a point to talk detail. Spoilers. Yeah, we're not going to dive into detail, but I guess just be cautious. I guess we won't talk like big moments. We'll just kind of talk like overall aesthetic and overall our thoughts on these films. Yes. So we'll say no spoilers and we'll try our best.
Okay. So yeah, Alien, as you alluded to, I think Alien has always been my favorite of this franchise. I think Alien is perfect. It's one of my favorite films ever. I think Alien works perfectly in a way that uses kind of one of the first initial films, along with 2001 and whatever, to use kind of space as that template, but to tell a horror story as well, to combine, horror and the sci-fi genre in such a perfect way. I think why Alien works so well for me, compared to like an Aliens, which we'll get onto, is the more quieter, intimate tone, in that the interactions with said alien are very kind of few and far between. The standoff sequences, I think, are some of the best ever, especially the final part of this film with the kind of Ripley standoff, whatever. I think that Sigourney Weaver gives one of the best performances I've ever seen by far. And I think one of my favorite things about this is kind of that slow progression and that slow build up to that point. You've got the initial chest burster scene, which kind of comes out of nowhere. I remember watching it when I first did, and we're having this moment where they kind of just, that initial scene where they kind of just sat around, they're all happy because the guy, I'm not going to say too much, but saying, and then they're all sat around eating food, whatever. And I think that works in such a way that is just so visceral and emotional, and in a way that they kind of interact and they're so bewildered by it. And then the progression from there, you hear everything. It's a very quiet film, especially when we start seeing the xenomorph. You hear the heartbeats, you hear everything's dark. We're in these like narrow passageways, especially in the final section when Ridley's trying to escape, these really narrow kind of dark lit passageways. You hear the sound of the metal chains like clanking together. You hear the sound of the xenomorph, like the noises, the drooling. And then you have the moment at the end, which is just the perfect moment where Ridley is trying to escape and realizes that she's still in there with said alien when she's trying to escape. And then said alien is kind of going through that regeneration process anyway, and it is not, we don't even know, harmful at that stage either way. So it kind of works in, again, more, I guess, a subversion of expectations, because, from what you've seen throughout the film, you expect the alien to just see her and go for it straight away. And it just makes for kind of, I think the whole film makes for the most like spine tingling piece of sort of horror, sci-fi, whatever. And I think it works together so perfectly, like a perfect combination of just build up, release, dread, terror, and a beautiful climax to match. I won't say rating. You'll know my rating. People know my rating.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
But, I won't. Yeah, I mean, well, I guess we'll just say them. I mean,
what? I mean, listen.
Shit bangs. Anyway,
yeah, shit do bang. Like I said, this is still my favorite in the franchise. That's not really a spoiler on my ranking. I think that's just an obvious. Ridley Scott. I love that little like fun fact that had come out about him this week, where it was like he was so depressed. He was so depressed when A New Hope came out that he made Alien, which is just insane. Like
crazy.
What am I doing wrong where I'm not, But yeah, this is such an iconic piece of horror filmmaking. Like you said, it was really the first true horror movie that takes place in space. I mean, you could argue 2001: A Space Odyssey, but I wouldn't even consider that necessarily horror. That's more of just classic good versus evil, I guess. But Alien is truly like the aesthetic that Ridley Scott put to screen is just insane. It's such a dirty environment. It feels so claustrophobic. His camera work is absolutely insane. He's using this steady cam that just holds for these really uncomfortably long shots. But yeah, this is just such an iconic piece of media. I absolutely love this. I'm obviously a big science fiction guy. I'm a big horror guy. And Alien is just the best of both worlds for me. Like you said, Sigourney Weaver putting on one of the best, if not the best, horror performance ever, I would say. I don't think it's that far off from like Jack Nicholson in The Shining. I don't know if that's a hot, spicy take, but
no,
Jack is still my number one horror performance, but I think Sigourney is just right there in like the pantheon of great horror performances. But yeah, this is an incredible movie. I absolutely love Alien. I loved rewatching it. I was always one of those people that went back and forth between Alien and Aliens. They were both a 5-star for me for a very long time. On rewatch, I edge Alien slightly. I know we'll get to Aliens. I know you edge Alien a good chunk. But yeah, I think Alien is just the clear-cut best of this franchise. It just does everything perfectly from a science fiction lens, from a horror lens, from a character development lens, from its imagery, its practicality. I think this movie's amazing. But we'll move on to Aliens. I wish Cam were here to back me up, but then I'm sure you wish Tyler were here to back you up, because we are wildly different on this one. Aliens for me, again, we mentioned this earlier in the episode. I think the best thing this franchise does is making every single film feel like its own risk, whether it works for me or not. Every film feels like it was directed by a different person, which it was, obviously, except for like Prometheus and Covenant being back to back and both Ridley. But you go from Ridley Scott to James Cameron. I think it's such an incredible decision to make, because you're taking Alien, a movie that was very, I guess, a little more, I don't want to say grounded, but it was a little more intimate. It was a little more claustrophobic. And now you're taking one xenomorph, turning it into a colony of xenomorphs, and you're bringing in the master of these ambitious sets and action set pieces, James Cameron, and you're just letting him play around in this playground. The world is built. He didn't have to worry about that. The characters are there. He didn't have to worry about that. The xenomorph is there. He didn't have to worry about that. It is literally just a playground for him to fuck around and make, in my opinion, one of the best science fiction action movies. I absolutely adore this movie. I think it's so fast. I think this gives Ripley / Sigourney Weaver I think it gives her just a little more to do physically, which I really like seeing that progression of her character. But yeah, I love Aliens. I know you're not as high on it, so I want to hear your thoughts. But like I said, I think going from Ridley to James, completely changing the vibe of the film and making it work entirely is so amazing.
Yeah, well, I agree. I think that, like, I mean, I'm going to kind of echo what I said previously as to why it doesn't work for me as much. I think that, like I said, James Cameron introduces so much more within Aliens that compared to Alien. Like, I think a big theme of this is kind of Ripley's maternal force and kind of her instant survival and grief, of course, from the previous one. And it's like her dealing with that. And then you've also got this James Cameron sort of classic space action extravaganza. I think I said in my review.
It's very proto Avatar, like these big mechanical machines, these weird looking guns. Like you could very much tell, like he was planting the seeds of like where he wanted to take his career.
Yeah, it's one that I think works within, especially James Cameron's universe, and like I think the environments are really nicely laid out. I think it is bigger. It is kind of this, military-esque, where you've got these kind of again moral quandaries and questions, big space action. And I will say, when people kind of call it this, and I'm guilty of this myself, like solely action film. I mean, it is compared to Alien 1, but I also think at the same time, it's not action 24/7. Like there's a lot in this,
No, I don't think it's like, I don't think it's insulting at all to say that this is an action movie. Like it is.
No, I just mean, like, I think a lot of people will just write it off as like, I think there's a lot of stuff in here in terms of kind of Ripley again, her maternal bond, her dealing with the grief and kind of what comes with that, and then obviously with the main character.
But what
Newt, yeah, cool.
But again, it works so perfectly because it's a sequel, but it doesn't feel like a sequel. It feels like a brand new take on this story. You're throwing Ripley, whatever it is, 60 years into the future. She's put in this environment where it's a familiar environment, but she doesn't feel welcome. So I think it's like this awesome action film, but you're getting a lot more depth of the character of Ripley, which I absolutely love.
Well, I think that to go back, I think I said this in my Terminator 2 review, and I think that's perfect related in terms of James Cameron. James Cameron, aside from Avatar, has built Terminator 2 and Aliens as films that both work as a continuation of their predecessor, in that they both work as a sequel, and it will obviously help if you've seen the previous film, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to watch them both as standalone narratives, they would be perfectly serviceable as well. I think that's a really, really big compliment in that they can do that. Yeah. The only thing I think I just don't like about Aliens as much, or nearly as much, is just that it's not what I look for in an Alien film. I like the more intimate approach. I like the moments where the action is very few and far between. I like the moments of cat and mouse chases. I like the xenomorph sightings to be very minimal. So that's kind of it. I guess it's just not the Alien film for me, but I also think it works.
Alien and Aliens. They are two very distinct films made by two very different filmmakers. So obviously I don't like the 3-star rating, but it makes sense. If you love Aliens is a wildly different experience. For me, and we'll eventually get to Prometheus and Alien Covenant. I think this franchise just gives me that best of both worlds where like I love the intimate movies. I love the action movies. It's just, it caters to what I love about science fiction and it can cater to what I love about horror. But all right, let's move on to Alien 3, David Fincher. Regardless of what I think of Alien 3, Ridley Scott, James Cameron, David Fincher, I don't think we'll ever see a trilogy with 3 more talented filmmakers where each of them are doing a different movie. Ever. That's insane. Ridley Scott to James Cameron to David Fincher. That's disgusting.
No,
I can't think.
It's not a trilogy though. There's 4. It's not a trilogy.
All right, the OG.
That's like calling Pirates of the Caribbean. I hate when people do that.
I mean, but it is kinda. You know what we mean.
Fine.
It is its own OG trilogy. But regardless,
you won't get that. Yeah, you won't get it.
I think this movie sucks. I think it's so just, I think it's disrespectful. Narratively, visually, I think nothing works here. There's so much, I'll say elementary, because I'll refrain from saying dog shit. But there's so much elementary commentary on power dynamic and fear and isolation, that just gets lost in this sea of boredom. You take Alien, which is a brilliant science fiction horror movie. Then you take Aliens, which is a brilliant science fiction action movie. Alien 3 could have been this awesome best of both worlds. And it didn't land. It completely missed the mark. Prometheus and Covenant, I think Alien 3, I will say, one thing that I will, I guess, praise it for, or at least just give it credit to, is that I think it plants these pretty cool seeds, that eventually lead to Prometheus and Covenant, where this is the movie where the xenomorphs start to feel like they're more divine, like they are there for judgment. So there's this like introduction to a more, like, I guess, philosophical or, faith belief kind of narrative that David Fincher kind of starts off. But again, Prometheus and Covenant just do it wildly better.
Yeah.
I think this movie is terrible. I think it's excuse me. I think it's, from the acting, sucks, and I love Sigourney, terrible. The practicality of it all, the effects, terrible. The design, terrible. I don't love this like prison environment. I think it's just such a lazy environment to put someone in and try to push this, very shallow narrative of, something, that moves forward through commentary where it just doesn't land for me. But yeah, I don't like this movie. I think this movie sucks.
Yeah, I'm not as low on it as you, but I also don't really like it. I think I watched it yesterday, my first time. I thought I'd watch this yesterday, and I'd like it more from like stuff I've seen on Twitter. I didn't. I liked it exactly the same amount. The biggest issue for Alien 3 for me is that it's boring, and I just don't have much interest in what goes on. I think visually it's actually kind of cool at moments, and I like the more grisly, nihilistic tone it provides. Like, it's a very miserable film. I actually almost wish they would have furthered that. I don't mind the prison setting, although it's a weird choice. But I think the biggest issue with this is that I just don't find much of it that interesting. Like, I find it quite dull. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. The ending's pretty cool. But I just find it kind of dull. I don't like what it presents. It doesn't. I mean, as a standalone film, I think it's whatever. I think it's fine. As a follow-up to Aliens, it doesn't work at all, in my opinion.
That's why I think I like hold it so terribly, is because I'm treating this as a sequel to Aliens and Alien, which I should be. As a sequel, it doesn't work. Maybe as a standalone film, if I hadn't already seen Alien and Aliens and whatever, everything else in the franchise, maybe it works a little bit better. But I truly think that this movie just takes everything fantastic about the original Alien movie and Aliens and just throws it out the fucking window. And obviously, like, the biggest controversy around this movie is they kill off Newt almost immediately. We spend all of Aliens saving Newt. We spend all of Aliens watching Ripley kind of turn into this very maternal figure and like truly like progress her character, and everything just feels redacted in Alien 3. It just feels like
it is weird. That was a weird. I mean, this has been a story as old as time. Like, in terms of like David Lynch's Dune, for example, the amount of studio complications that came with this for David Fincher and how he's practically disowned the film for many reasons. And I imagine that was probably one of those things that was a big studio decision in terms of that killing off point. Because that is a weird
bad decision to make. Such a bad decision.
It's odd. Because again, it's like if you call it a film Alien 3, just call it Alien Prison. Or I don't fucking know. Just don't call it, because you call it Alien 3, people are always going to look at it from a lens of, okay, this is a follow up from Aliens, being that's 2. And it doesn't work as a follow up from his predecessor. A standalone film, I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's good either. I just think it's whatever. But I think it's a poor follow up. So yeah, I'm not. I don't hate it like you do, but I'm not a fan of it either.
All right. Well, speaking of a movie I viscerally hate,
Well, for this one, so I've not seen this. I had a lot to watch this week. I haven't seen this in at least 2 or 3 years. I didn't like it on previous watch. I'll go with it, and I'll just give my thoughts quickly. I still think, George,
we're talking Alien Resurrection, by the way, for everyone listening.
I think the Alien Resurrection, from memory, does some stuff okay. And again, I think that it's very similar to it's the argument we said earlier, in that it tries things new. This one really, from memory, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, delves into the realms of motherhood for Ellen Ripley. That's kind of the whole thing, and delves into things like sexual assault, which has been a thing that has been covered in the Alien franchise quite a lot. It's a very bleak film, similar to Alien 3, but I also think a lot of the ideas are kind of half baked from memory. But I'll let you take this one, because I have no idea where I said this. I don't think I remember liking it much. I appreciate it tried something new, but I also just don't remember liking it. But I'll let you kind of cover this one, because it's been such a long time since last watch.
Yeah, just like we've been saying, every movie is taking its own risk, and it's either the risks work or they don't. And Resurrection, just it doesn't work for me. I think it's so bland, it's so devoid of intrigue. It's trying to shove commentary down our throat that just gets lost in this cheesy mess of a narrative. I really hated this movie on rewatch. It is genuinely the worst production Joss Whedon has ever been a part of, and he made Justice League 2017. My biggest problem with this movie, every Alien movie feels like it was directed by someone new up until this point, because it was.
Yeah.
Every scene in Alien Resurrection feels like it was directed by a different person. It is so tonally all over the place. I had no idea what to feel. I had no idea how this movie wanted me to experience its narrative and its characters and its horror and action. It was so all over the place. It was so inconsistent. I found none of the story to be intriguing. This is everyone, we're all like, oh, Alien Romulus is the MCU-ification of the Alien universe. What about this? We kill off Ripley in Alien 3, and we're already bringing her back lazy. She was brought back to fill theater seats. She wasn't brought back with purpose. She was brought, if this happened today in another universe, whatever, people would be shitting all over this. This is a clear-cut fan service movie where we're bringing back an iconic scream queen, or whatever you want to call Ripley. I don't know if she's technically considered a scream queen, but we're bringing her back one movie after she died, and it just feels so unwarranted. It's not earned. Nothing about this movie made me think we needed this movie. We deserved this movie. This feels like, okay, we had a successful trilogy. Alien and Aliens were received very well. Alien 3, not received too well, but maybe we can rewrite those wrongs, and they ended up just adding to the wrongs. I think this movie is so disrespectfully terrible. I can appreciate that people enjoy it. I don't know how someone can sit through this and enjoy such a movie. I think everything sucks, from the production to the effects to the atmosphere. I think there's this weird dynamic between every single character where all of them felt like they hated each other, the actors, and it showed in the movie because none of them had any semblance of chemistry or cohesion. I think it's just, for what is this movie, an hour and 45 minutes, it's just the biggest eye roll I could imagine. I really dislike this movie a lot. I think my 1 star is generous. If I'm being honest, I think this is such a piece of shit. But I'm not going to harp on it. I want to get to the next 2 movies because you and I are very big fans of Prometheus and Covenant. and I'm just excited to talk to you about Covenant. So let's run through Prometheus. Prometheus, I love. Love is strong, actually. I very much like Prometheus. I like that, and I'll even throw Covenant into the mix. I love that this is such a brand new story to tell within this franchise, and I love the direction we're going, where we're kind of showing the origin of the xenomorphs. We are diving significantly more into divine judgment and faith and belief and humanity and birth. And I absolutely love Prometheus as this very toned down, I guess I'd call it a character study, whereas like the other films don't necessarily feel like character studies. I think it's so goddamn impressive that you can make an Alien movie in 2012, make it be the 5th Alien movie coming how much longer? 15 years after the previous Alien movie. It completely exclude the xenomorph and still make it successful, still make it worth my time. I think that is
it wasn't for most people, was it? That's the thing. When it was such a tonal.
Very true. Let's make it clear. I think Seth and I are in the minority, I guess I would say, in like absolutely liking.
I think it's like minority in public, not minority in film space.
Yeah, exactly. I think all of our mutuals, except for that dummy Alex Coleman, rate this very highly. But yeah, I think that like I'm thinking like this movie came out in 2012, right? Mm-hmm. Imagine it's 2010. And the news is breaking that Ridley Scott wants to make another Alien movie, and you're like, "Wow, that's sick! I'm so excited! It's been 15 years." And then news drops that, oh, by the way, there's not going to be a xenomorph in this movie. It's a completely different Alien movie, completely different storytelling within the Alien universe. Yeah, dude, that probably turned off so many people. But I loved it. I loved the introduction of David. I love that David is kind of playing God, and you see him play God a little bit more in Covenant, which I'm excited to get to. Elizabeth Shaw, fantastic new character. But like I said, for me, this whole franchise is just kind of the best of both worlds for me, because I love Aliens. I love Romulus, and they're very action-heavy movies. I love Alien. It is a very science fiction horror movie. And now you're coming to Prometheus and Covenant, very toned down, very intimate experiences, very philosophical experiences. They are tonally so different from the 4 movies that we just talked about. And I absolutely love that. So across this entire franchise, I am getting just the best of both worlds. And I truly love Prometheus. I really do. I truly like Prometheus a lot. I won't say love, because I will say I don't think a lot of the pieces come together. Like I said, I think this movie dives into faith and belief and divine intervention. I don't want to say shallowly, if that's a word, but not as, again, here's a stupid comparison. I think Martin Scorsese's silence slightly ruined my experience with Prometheus, because that is my favorite movie ever, probably, about faith and belief. And those ideas are
a benchmark.
Those ideas are just touched on so much better than Prometheus. But I like Prometheus a lot. I love the aesthetic. I love the world. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. Do you want to hear an interesting fact, George? You know the actress that played Elizabeth Shaw, Noomi Rapace.
Yeah, Noomi Rapace.
She once took a photo of me.
She once took a photo of you? Yeah. Where? The fuck?
At the Flash after party, because I was getting a picture with the guy she was with, and I was with Josiah. Kind of crazy.
Why was she? Was she in the Flash?
No, she was just at the after party. Like, she was
on
what I assumed to be a date with an English rapper called Giggs. That, if you've heard of him, he was on like Drake albums years ago.
No.
And yeah, kind of interesting. I remember seeing her, I was like, oh shit, she's from Prometheus. It's kind of cool. I think, so I didn't get a chance to rewatch this one this week, but I have seen it multiple times. I think I watched it like a year ago, so it's still like that. Prometheus is like the first one where it goes into like you said, like there's a lot of spirituality. The whole thing and concept and themes with both Prometheus and Covenant, I think it explores it even further, and we'll get on to Covenant, and I think we're both higher on it. In that, the overall overarching theme is creation. And I think the Prometheus is one that massively excels in having these kind of larger than life set pieces and these grandeur sets. Like, it's a huge, huge film. And some of the visuals are truly remarkable. And it's a really, really interesting film in that it came in 2012. The marketing has, we're getting an alien film from Ridley again. Bear in mind, Ridley hadn't done one since 1979, which obviously everyone would have already watched. Then they go into this, and it's like it's completely different. The entities are completely different. It goes on the film themes of creation, which has been a concurrent film theme throughout the whole franchise, but it's in a completely different way. And again, goes back to what we can say this for every film other than Romulus for me, is that it tries its own thing and goes really into the origins and the story of it. And I think as a film on creation and spirituality, it really manages to separate itself from many, especially within the sci-fi space and story of Prometheus, as we say. But I think that it's a difficult one as well, because Covenant, and again, we'll get onto this. No, I'll say that for Covenant. But yeah, I really like Prometheus anyway. I think it's really, really great.
Yeah, Prometheus absolutely rips. I would love to like go back to 2012 and just be in that theater with like diehard Alien fans and just see their reaction. Yeah, just to see their reaction when they didn't get like that Alien film that they maybe wanted.
Yeah.
But also, I love that this movie's not called Alien Prometheus.
Yeah, completely different.
Like it's just Prometheus. It's very clear, like, yes, this takes place in the Alien universe, but it's not necessarily an Alien movie. It's like its own. It's like we're going back to the origin of synthetics, of xenomorphs, of fucking creation, of life. It's a very different experience, which I absolutely enjoy. And then we move on to Covenant, which I'm really happy I rewatched this one. I didn't think I was going to have time, but I made time, and damn, man, this movie fucking rips. Everyone, a lot of people are calling like Romulus like the Alien thank you movie to like the entire franchise. I think Covenant is that film, because Covenant gives us the best of everything. It gives us the best of the horror. It gives us the best of the action. It gives us the best of the more philosophical outing of Prometheus. I think this movie balances everything that Aliens, and Prometheus did so well, and just kind of like gives it this brand new spin. You have a new crew you're with. You're on the Covenant. You're on a new ship. David returns, obviously a familiar face.
And this.
Dude, he's so fucking cool, man. Obviously not like the character you want to root for, but dude, like at the end of the movie when he plays the entry of the gods into Valhalla and he walks into the room with all of the embryos, I'm like, this man is God. Like, he is literally playing God. And I love this movie. It has a very Rogue One feel, in that it's leading up to not necessarily a happy ending, but the journey to get there is so equally intriguing, and it's so much fun. You have this moral conflict between Jesus Christ, what's his name, Billy Crudup, and his crew, and then you have this fight for survival, and you're also seeing the creation and the birth of the xenomorphs. This movie's so fucking good, man. I had such a good experience with this one this time around. I absolutely loved the nod to Ozymandias. I believe it was David that said it. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. And it's just back to the entry of the gods to Valhalla. Like, this dude is literally.
You love this shit, don't you?
Dude, he's playing
you
God.
Absolutely love this shit.
It's so insane, man. This movie, I had such a fantastic experience with it this time around. And of course, I'm getting comments. Oh, this is a 4.5, but Deadpool and Wolverine is a 1.5. Like, dude, if you like Deadpool and Wolverine, Alien Covenant is gonna blow your fucking mind, man. This movie is so damn good. I love the entire final like action chase scene where the xenomorph is like runs up, jumps on the ship. They're trying to navigate their way around, and it's like it's almost a happy ending. But then obviously, like she's in the cryo sleep chamber and realizes that it's David and not Walter, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you just got played, man. You just got played so terribly. Like that sucks. You're gonna be sleeping for the rest of your life while David goes and plays God. Like you have no idea what you just did.
It is literally that, isn't it? Because I think the whole, again, like it's similar to Prometheus, but built even further in that he is playing God. Like it's the whole this whole thing is about creation and playing God and playing that entity. Also, you forgot to mention that David kisses Walter as well, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
that's a crazy. Also, acting out himself.
Funny fucking line, which like genuinely just made me laugh. It was so funny when David was teaching Walter how to play that flute thing, and he gives Walter the flute, and he goes, "Here, you try. I'll finger it for you." And I'm like, paused. What did you just say?
I think that, again, I think it moves on such a way that it kind of, it's really like a disturbing film in the grand scheme of things. Obviously, we lightly touched on earlier, like kind of the, should I say, chest burster, back burster,
dude. Oh my god,
wild! And it's like those moments, they're the alien moments. That's what you wait for. You know it's coming, and you're just like patiently waiting for those. But I think it succeeds in such a way where you've got this crew and kind of, the axe and, the demoralizing nature of it all, where things are just kind of going well. You got the reflections on the idea of creation, which I mentioned in my review, which obviously you just spoke about. I'm going to echo those. Michael Fassbender, who's just the highlights completely. I said in my review, like it's cringe or cliched sometimes that an actor's born for a role, but he really is, or two roles, should I say, in that he just plays off each other so well and he's just outrageously fucking good. I also think this film, one of its most impressive things is literally, I think I said in my review, it's like, similar to what I said about like Barry Lyndon, but in an opposite way, like seeing like a cosmic painting just come to life. Yeah. Some of it's fucking the audacity of some of the sets in this and some of the kind of grandiose visuals are just so good. And it feels the best thing
massive,
about
it feels massive.
Well, this is the thing, that's what I was going to say. It feels massive when it wants to, but also really quiet and small when it wants to as well. Like in the sequence with, the Fassbenders or the final sequence, as you say. And I think it just progresses in such a way that works in its favor massively. And while the themes are still there that pervade the entire franchise, like creation, like God, like this entity there, like faith, it has so much else going for it in terms of its grotesque imagery, in terms of Fassbender delivering the role of a lifetime. And we've obviously spoke about how interesting we find these kind of characters are in general, like when we touched on Andy in a similar way. But yeah, I think Covenant is amazing. I really liked it anyway, and then rewatched this week. I think it's one of those films where you rewatch it just gets better and better. I liked it even more. And yeah, I think it's fantastic. Well, I guess we'll move on to like the ratings, rankings.
Yeah, let's do our rankings. I feel like it's probably obvious after we ran through that, but why don't you give us? We'll just go. We don't have to go one for one. Just go through your entire list.
Okay. So
give your rating too.
Okay, so let me go. Right, my rating is last place, Alien Resurrection, tentatively speaking, because I don't know. I think so. Next is Alien 3, at 2.5. That's when the ratings come in. So Resurrection, Alien 3, 2.5, Romulus 2.5, Aliens 3, Prometheus 4, Alien Covenant 4.5, and then Alien that's a 5.
That Aliens, man, that'll just never sit right with me. Sorry. All right, I got Alien Resurrection at number 7 with a 1 star. Alien 3 at number 6 with a 1.5 star. Prometheus at 5 with a 3.5 star. Romulus at 4 with a 3.5 star. Those two are very interchangeable for me. Mm-hmm. I have Aliens at number 3 with a 4.5 star. I have Alien Covenant at number 2 with a 4.5 star. And I have Alien, the Ridley Scott OG film, at number 1 with a 5 star and a heart on Letterboxd.
Yeah,
But let us know in the comments what's your ranking of the Alien franchise. I feel like I don't know. I feel like just like the Spider-Man franchise, like everyone has such a wildly different ranking of these movies. It really just kind of depends what you like. Do you like the philosophical outing of Prometheus and Covenant? Do you like the action-heavy outings of Aliens and Romulus? Do you love horror? I'm about to sneeze. Hold on. Oh, fuck, I hate when that happens, man. The sneeze goes back up your nose. Shit sucks. But yeah, let us know in the comments what are your Alien rankings, and also let us know what you thought about Alien Romulus. We have a little bit of news, but we're gonna do a quick horror franchise tier list first. So let me pull this up. Hold on, I got to share my screen. I always forget how to do
you
this
have to bear with us. We haven't got our dad here.
We don't have. Hold on, share screen. Create a horror franchise tier list. Share. Okay. Do you see my screen?
We see your screen. We see your
Fantastic. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do the same thing we did with the superheroes, where Seth and I are gonna kind of have to agree on.
No, but we don't get an entrance for this one. I think we don't get a guarantee.
No guarantee lock. I think it's just two of us. I think we can agree for the most part. So it's S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and D tier. There's no F tier on this one. But we'll also, I guess, we'll use the D tier for things we may not have seen
or seen
in a while. Fitting. We're going to start with Alien. I think that's a deserving S.
I think that it's so consistent, aside from one or two, and the highs are so high that it's an S tier. Like even if it was just Alien alone, I'm like maybe. So
even though I dislike Alien 3 and Alien Resurrections heavily, I think the highs of this franchise are too incredible to overlook. I think S tier is deserving. Now we're moving on to Child's Play. I will say I've never seen the TV show. I'm pretty sure there's a TV show going on like right now.
I'm not counting TV shows. I don't watch TV.
Okay, all right. I think this is a respectable C tier franchise. But again, I will say I have not seen these movies in a while. I don't even know if I have them logged on Letterboxd.
I think we go D because I've seen like 3 of them, but not for ages. I think we go D.
Right. We'll toss it in D. We apologize if you are a Child's Play. If you're a big Chucky fan, sorry.
Apparently the show is actually quite good, I saw it here.
I have heard, I have not heard poor things.
Which is wild.
We're going to move on to the Conjuring universe. I'm assuming this also includes the Annabelle movies.
Yeah, I think it will. It does.
I wish Cam were here to give his input. I know he loves those movies a lot.
This is a real. So I think that I think Conjuring 1 is really, really good.
Yeah.
I think Conjuring 2 is also pretty good.
But everything else,
I think it really starts. I think the first Annabelle I actually didn't mind. I would go B.
I think B is appropriate. I think B is appropriate because not only is the first Conjuring movie incredible, I think it's also very influential.
Yeah, I'll go B. I'll go B.
A very important horror movie. So I
think the first Conjuring is great. I'll go B.
Evil Dead, I'm putting on S.
Evil Dead is S for sure. Evil Dead. There's 5 films, and apparently TV show's really, really good, which I haven't seen. There's 5 films. I think they're all
great.
I like Rise less so, but I still really like it. I think they're all heavily watchable. I can rewatch them all the time, and they're all good. The consistency's there, and I think that will continue to improve over time. I think especially with the heights of it are so high. So yeah, it's S tier for me for sure.
Yeah, it got to be S. I mean, 5 movies. I think 2013's Evil Dead is my lowest ranked, and I have it at a 4-star.
I think Evil Dead Rise is my lowest, and I have it at 3.5. But the rest are either 4s or 4.5. So it's very, very high up there anyway.
Yeah, this is the Harry Potter of horror franchises, where everything is just good to great. S tier for sure. I think if I ranked these, I don't know if I would put Alien or Evil Dead higher, man. I think I would
put Evil Dead higher because I think the lows of Alien counteracts the highs in a way. Whereas like Alien would probably be my number 2, but I would probably put Evil Dead higher, I think.
God, yeah, 2 days ago, I think I would have agreed, but that was before I rewatched Covenant and gave Covenant the 4.5 star.
Maybe I think they're the 1 and 2. So we'll just.
Yeah. Damn, it's so good, man. Okay, now we have Final Destination. I have not seen these movies.
You've not seen the first, like any of them?
I have not seen any of these
movies.
Bro,
that's crazy.
I saw
D because it's been a while, but they are crazy. They are wild.
D or B?
D, because it's been a while since I watched them, so I can't give an accurate, but they are wild.
Listen, dude, I want to watch these movies. I really do, but I saw one TikTok clip of the acupuncture scene where like the table breaks, and I'm like, I can't do that. I just can't do it. I'm good on that. All right, now we have the Friday the 13th franchise. I don't think this is a hot take. I don't love the first Friday the 13th. Like, I don't think it's as iconic and as good as people necessarily say. I do think it's probably the best in the franchise, which kind of makes me want to put it at like a C tier. But
I don't like the first Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
but I do. I think the second one's okay. And there was and then they did a remake.
Dude, there's so
which
many.
I didn't like.
Dude, there's Friday the 13th. Then you have
Friday versus Jason.
Yeah, then you have part 2, part 3, the final chapter, A New Beginning, Jason Lives, The New Blood, Jason Takes Manhattan, Friday the 13th, the series. So I guess that's a TV show. Then you have Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, Freddy vs. Jason, Friday the 13th, the remake.
Well, I'll say this, George. Out of all the ones I've seen, I have my 2 highest rated. I have 2 at a 3-star, so he can't go very high. It's the 2 highest of at 3-star. I would go C because I've seen enough of them to say I would go C.
Man, I did not realize. I'm looking at Letterboxd right now. I have to put all of these on my watch list. I did not realize there were this fucking many Friday the 13th movies. Why is there a Jason Takes Manhattan? That's insane.
They're not even including Freddy versus Jason. I guess that kind of merged.
Yeah, Freddy versus Jason right here, 2003.
Yeah, that's not good. I didn't like that one. I'll go C.
I'll let you decide this one because I've only seen one. And what do I give the original Friday the 13th?
I give it a 2.5.
Yeah, I give it a 2.
I didn't really like it.
Damn. I gotta rewatch that. What I did recently was I removed my rating of every single Halloween movie except the original and put them back on my watch list because I want to rewatch all of those.
So I have watched quite a few.
I've seen them all. I want to rewatch them because I didn't run through the Halloween movies Halloween's up right now. But yeah, I didn't run through the Halloween franchise last year.
This is difficult. There's only 2, I think, and you will disagree with this. I think
there are only 2 what that are bad or good.
No, that are really, really good.
Oh, and I agree. Those with that.
Being no, you won't agree with my things though.
Don't tell me. Don't say the Rob Zombie movie.
Yes, the original Halloween, which is a 4.5 for me.
Correct. Me too.
And then Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, which is a 4 for me. They're the only ones that are really good. I think that some of the ones, honestly, when we get into like, let me find the names of these, the one with like Busta Rhymes and shit, they are like,
I mean, also, like I think the 20, what year was it? I think the 2018 remake. I think
it's okay. Movie. I think it's okay.
I think it's good at least.
I think Halloween 2 is also okay. You know, the first Halloween 2, the second one.
Dude, I haven't seen them in so long. This is why
I think that's pretty good. I think the recent trilogy Halloween 2018 was cool, and then 2 and 3 I thought were horrific, kills and ends. I think the Halloween 5 is awful, and Halloween. Oh my god! Okay, I found it. Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers. No, it's not this one. It's Resurrection. It's so bad. Resurrection is so bad.
Oh no!
So I'm gonna say and I will say this, George. I think that Halloween is so good. Even though there's a lot of shit here, I'm gonna say B.
B.
Yeah, it's not Friday the 13th level. We have to.
All right, that's fair. That's
It
fair.
could even go A.
Oh no.
No, okay, it's not me.
We got to agree on B here.
Okay, I'll go B. I'll go B.
All right. Oh, B seems high, man.
No, because you can't. Because
so
think about the
many
highest
good
points though. Halloween, the original. I know you don't love zombies, but Halloween is like amazing, and you've got like some bangers in there, some little.
All right, we will leave it at B for
B.
now. All right, now we have Insidious. So here's my thing with Insidious. I think the first Insidious is great. I give it 4 stars. I think it's a very scary movie. I think Patrick Wilson is fantastic. The following 4 sequels, I give each of them 2 stars. I don't like them that much. I don't think they're offensively bad. I just think they're very bland, I would say. They're not doing anything to tickle my horror fancy.
Okay, this is where we might disagree slightly.
Okay.
I don't know actually, because we might not. So I think Insidious 2 is okay. I like Insidious 1.
Okay.
I think the recent one I have a 2.5, and the ones in between I have a 2. So this is like a high C or a low B for me. So I don't mind either.
I would personally go C. I don't think it's on.
It's got to be the highest point of C. There, it's higher than Friday.
Yeah. All right, I'll put it ahead of Friday the 13th, just so we're clear about that.
Okay,
but
that's
because I don't think the Insidious highs even come close to the Halloween highs.
No, they don't. They don't.
John Carpenter's
movies.
I
don't think Insidious highs come close to the Conjuring highs either, or come close.
Maybe. I mean, I think The Conjuring is better than Insidious, but I do like both those movies. But I just think the subsequent sequels in both franchises are what kind of holds both of them back.
Yeah, for sure.
God. Okay, now we're moving on to A Nightmare on Elm Street. Another.
Ooh.
Fuck, man. How many sequels are in this movie, dude? Like, I swear. Hold on. Nightmare. We've got. So there's. Dude, these horror franchises.
So you might have to. I think I've only seen 2 or 3 of these. I like the original, and I don't mind the second one. I think
I just recently watched all of them.
I remember.
I ran through them, or not all of them, but most of them. I watched the OG. I watched 2. I watched Dream Warriors. I watched.
The posters are kind of cool. Crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't adore these films as much as I would like. I think the original is very good. Dream Warriors is fine. I give that a 3-star. I think the second one is not that great. Freddy's Revenge, I give it a 2.5 star. And then
I kind of think the first one is like the same level as like the first Conjuring, though. Maybe.
Ooh, I would slightly edge The Conjuring.
Wow, Cam has the first Nightmare on Elm Street at 4.5. That's actually like so wild to me. I didn't even know he'd seen it. Yeah.
Oh my god! And then you have The Dream Master, the 4th one. I forgot that existed. That's a bad movie.
It's difficult because I've only seen the first like 2 or 3. I think the first one is very good from memory.
Yeah.
So I would go low B because I think it's better. I think the first one is better than the first Insidious. I'll say that.
I think. See, they're so close for me.
They're the same rating.
All right, I could be fine with a B because I give A Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one, a 4.
Same, I think.
I give 2 a 2.5. I give 3 a 3. I give 4 a 1.5. Maybe C, but I'll keep.
No, but then we've got The Conjuring there. What do you give like Conjuring 3 and 4 or Annabelle films as well?
I mean, the Annabelle films I don't hold highly.
And The Nun.
All right. All right. I keep it.
It's got to be in B. It has to be in B.
B
I also think, thinking about it, I think that Halloween should go above Conjuring.
You think Halloween? Oh, these aren't ranked, but sure.
No, but I think we should. There you go. That's fine.
All right, fine. So then, are we putting Evil Dead above Alien here?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. All right. Paranormal Activity.
I have seen a few of these. I'm going to say C, to be honest. I don't really like many of these, if any of them. think the first one's whatever. I think it's really impressive what they did with the budget and structurally, but I don't like these films very much at all. I'm gonna say D. C.
I didn't
Sorry.
even know there have been 10 of these. I've only
Oh,
seen.
bro, they make money though as well. It's
Do
crazy.
they?
Yeah.
Dude, this is the first time I'm hearing of Paranormal Activity, the marked ones,
Wait.
Paranormal Activity, the Ghost Dimension, Paranormal Activity, Next of Kin. This one's just called Unknown Dimensions, the story of Paranormal Activity.
No,
that
bro, Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, yeah,
yeah,
made off
don't
a
tell me.
budget of 5 million. It made 91 million. They shit out money. The first one was like a 15,000 budget, and it made like 20 million or some shit. It was the craziest thing ever.
I've only seen one, so
I'm going to see. I've seen like nearly all of them. I really don't like these films.
All right, we'll put this at D.
Okay, fine.
Fuck Paranormal Activity. All right, Saw.
Have you seen the recent Saw yet?
I have not seen the recent Saw yet.
So the recent Saw, this is a real. I think the first. No, I think this is a definite C. I think this is a definite C because the first one I think is great. The sixth one I think it's good, and the recent one I think is okay as well. There's a lot of duds in the middle, but I think the strength in it is the same as Insidious. I think the first Saw is better than the first Insidious, for example. I think the heights of Saw are higher than Insidious.
Okay, I've only seen up to Saw 5, up to Saw 4. Sorry.
Well, you missed some of the good ones then, I think.
Yeah, I heard. I mean, didn't you guys like Saw 10? I remember.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was okay. I think it was pretty fine. It was good.
Right, either way, I need to catch up. All right, where do you want to put this?
I think highest C.
I see, like above Conjuring, or between Conjuring and Jason.
No, higher than that's Insidious.
Oh, you wanted it to be?
No. I mean, I think the highest point is C. The highest point, just ahead of Insidious.
All right, we'll put it there. I like you. I like how we're.
Then again, though, are we putting like
what?
Oh, it's tricky. Are we putting Nightmare on Elm Street above Saw? I don't know.
I said Nightmare on Elm Street on C to begin with. I think right here for Nightmare on Elm Street works. Right?
No, okay, fine. Do that and then bring Saw up to B because the first Saw bangs.
Yeah, but there's so many bad sequels.
But there's a couple of good sequels you haven't seen.
All right, fine. I'll put a B.
Okay.
Scream is going at A.
This is the perfect A.
Yeah,
I don't think there's the high point. I don't think there's nearly as high as a point as the highest point of Evil Dead or Aliens. But I think it's very, not for me. I think it's very good, but it's a 4-star for me. I think it's very, very good. Yeah, but like compared to like an Evil Dead 2 or like an Alien or Alien Covenant, I don't think it's near. But they're all good. Apart, I think 3's still okay. It's a very consistent franchise that I'll always have a good time with. It's like a guaranteed 3/3.5 with the 4 occasionally in there. So it's a perfect A, I think. Definitely.
I feel like I almost want to put it at S. I have the first Scream at a 4.5.
S has to be earned, George. We're not putting
3.5, a 2.5, a 3.5, a 4.
That's not an A. That's not S tier. Think about the ratings you have for Alien and Evil Dead.
Hey, I don't have any Scream movies as low as Resurrection or Alien 3.
But like the high points though. Think about the high points, George.
I don't think the first Scream is that far off of like Evil Dead 2 and Aliens.
Okay, fine. That's fine, but then you've got to bring in. Then you've got to bring in Army of Darkness, Evil Dead Rise for you, Alien Covenant, Aliens. It's no. It's an A.
All right, I'll leave it at A. We'll let the gang decide in the comments.
Put this at C because every single film is a half star, and I know you haven't seen them, but put it at C.
What, I spit on your grave?
Yeah, put it at C.
Every movie's a half star. We're not going to put it on D.
No. Like it has to be C because I've seen them, and I want people to know how shit they are. Because D is our tier for. I don't know. We haven't seen them enough. I've seen these films. They are, George, you would say the same.
Well, I'm still putting it on D. If you're giving every movie a half star, I'm not putting it on the same tier as Friday the 13th.
Oh, yeah, okay,
we'll still use the D tier.
We should actually add a tier. Go on that toggle, that settings toggle on the right, next to the D tier.
Here?
Yeah, press it. Add a row below.
Add a row below. Oh, there we
Okay.
go.
Now we'll move the ones we haven't seen.
All right,
into
so
that.
we'll put I spit on your grave.
No. Put that in C.
Oh, put that in. Wait,
What the fuck? Yeah, and then
there we go. So Chucky will go here. Destination. Boom. Bang.
There we go.
Bang. Should have done that from the start.
D.
Yeah, Terrifier's going D for me.
Have you seen 2 yet?
I have. Yeah, I didn't log it because I don't even know what to say or what to rate it.
I don't like either.
Dude, I even said this on my one of my TikTok videos this week. I really don't like the first 2 Terrifier movies, but I'm weirdly very excited for the third.
Same, weirdly. I don't know why it's kind of intriguing me.
I said this also. I think it's the Christmas aesthetic. I think that's just like
I respect it though, because some of the stuff they do, like I think it's Damien thingy, like some of the sets and like practical work they do is fucking impressive.
Yeah,
with the budget they have. But yeah, they're not for me. Like the second one was so indulgent, and I get that's the point, and he wanted it to make that, but it was like 2.5 hours, man. Of just
a little too much indulge.
Yeah.
All right, Texas Chainsaw. I've only ever seen. It's really, dude.
But okay, this is the thing, George. Right, and I did this video I think recently. Okay, this is the thing. For me, Texas Chainsaw, the first one, is like the best thing ever.
It's one of the greats. It's one of the great horror
I
films
think the second one is also really good.
Okay.
I think the remake
I've only seen the first one ever, and it's a 5 for me. I think it's one of the best horror films. Mm-hmm. And I've seen the 2022
no, I don't mean that one. Fuck that film. That's terrible.
Oh, yeah, that movie sucks. So those are the only 2 films I have seen.
I need to say this, George. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the lows are almost equal to the lows. Not quite, but like they're not far off the Alien low of the screen. Honestly, like the first 2, the first one especially, and the one they did in 2003 with the Rebirth franchise, I think this is an A tier. Like I really do.
I'll trust you.
Lower than Scream or around that level. But I think you've seen the first one. The first one is like fucking
the first one's fantastic. Nothing against the first one.
What do you rate the first one
at? 5.
I don't think you can put a franchise where you have a film as a 5 under an A tier. That's my thing.
I guess.
There you go.
I mean, I've only seen 2. One is all-time great. One absolutely blows. So I'm going to let you decide this one.
A.
So we'll keep it at A. We got The Exorcist. How many fucking movies are in The Exorcist?
There's a few. I think I've seen 3 or 4.
Dead ass. I thought it was just The Exorcist and The Exorcist Believer. I did not realize.
Oh no, there's like quite a few.
Oh shit! The Exorcist 2, The Heretic. We have The Exorcist 3. We got Exorcist. What is this called? The Beginning in 2004. That's a lie.
Yeah, we should preface this by saying that The Exorcist 3. So I've seen 2 and 1, obviously. The Exorcist 3 is meant to be really good. Like it's got a 3.6 average. So this is gonna.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, same.
I've only seen the original, and I give that one a 5.
So the original's a 4.5 for me. Great film. The second one is a 2.5 for me, which is very, whatever. Okay. Exorcist Believer is a half star for me. I think it's like one of the worst. I think B.
Low B? Middle B?
Because The Exorcist, man, higher than Conjuring. The Exorcist, the first Exorcist is that good. It's around Halloween, There's just a lot of those ones.
Fair. I don't even know. Oh, this is VHS. No,
that's VHS.
No, this is what the fuck is this? What is this?
Is that Jigsaw? Wait,
no, we already did. Dude, I have no idea what the fuck this is. We're gonna put that at the bottom.
Wait, what is that? It's Omen. It's the first Omen. It's the guy. It's the first Omen. It's Omen. It's the Omen for sure. It is. Because it looks like Damien in the little suit thing. It is Omen. Right. I'm sure it is. If I'm wrong, correct me. But
All right. Well, we'll call it the first, or we'll just call it The Omen. I haven't seen the original. I watched. Good. Yeah, I've watched the first Omen, which I very much enjoyed. I don't know where to put this.
I think a perfect spot for this is B.
Dude, there have been 5 Omen movies.
Oh.
We had the Omen.
What the hell is Omen 4: The Awakening? What?
Yeah,
9,000 people have logged it. Great, brilliant.
This is insanity. Some of these horror franchises.
We might have to put this in.
Yeah, this is going at the bottom.
I've seen 2, and they're both. I like them both a lot. So like, it's on good standard for me right now. But
I mean, I've seen 1 and I liked it. Should we leave it in this category?
Yeah, I mean, right now I would probably give it B, but then I haven't seen any of the apparent shit ones, so it's hard to get.
All right, we'll leave that there. VHS is interesting, and I say VHS is interesting because I really like found footage. I do like the original movie from 2012, or maybe like is a slightly strong word. I do enjoy it, but that's just also I think my found footage bias coming out. But I haven't seen VHS 94.
I've seen one of these films.
Yeah, I haven't seen VHS 99 or 85.
I've seen 99, which was the one in 2022.
There are so fucking many VHS films. It makes me want to die. So I think
I've seen
appropriately, I would put this on the haven't seen tier.
Now this one is very interesting.
So I
haven't Maxine though.
I haven't seen Maxine, and I
You're really like
I really like X, and I like Pearl. Like if I haven't seen Maxine, so keep in mind this is going without Maxine. I think this would go on the B tier.
So I think you should compromise because of what I have seen, because I would say C tier.
All right. I'm going to put it high C. Then.
I would say lowest C tier. I think Maxine. Okay, fine. Put it middle tier. Put it below Insidious. Middle.
I'm putting it above Friday the 13th for sure.
Fine. I like X. I didn't like Pearl, and I think Maxine is terrible. But I did like X, so that can go C tier.
I still need to see fucking Maxine. And I mean, listen, I usually like to watch movies and form my own opinion, but this movie was so consistently shit on by all of my mutuals that I just do not want to watch it. Hellraiser.
I'm out. I've only seen one. I didn't like it.
I'm out. I've only seen the remake.
Do you know how many Hellraiser films there are? There's like 20 or something.
18. Why are there 18 Hellraiser movies? We have Hellraiser 2. Hellraiser 2 is called Hellbound Hellraiser 2. Then you have Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth. Then you have Hellraiser 4, Bloodline. Okay, then you have just
look at the average ratings for these.
Yeah, this is horrific, man. Also these titles are hysterical. This one's called Hellraiser Inferno.
That's cool. You watched the 2022 one, didn't you? I swear you did.
Yeah, I watched the remake. I did watch the remake.
Oh, is it a remake? I didn't know if it was like a.
I have no idea. I don't know if it's a remake, reboot.
Oh, you haven't seen the original?
Haven't seen any other Hellraiser movie.
Oh, okay.
Except this one. Dude, this one is called Hellraiser, The Story of Hellraiser and Hellbound Hellraiser 2. So I think that's more of a documentary. This one's called Hell on Earth, The Story of Hellraiser 3. This one's called Hellraiser Evolutions. This is stupid. This is dumb. I'm not watching any of these movies ever.
I've seen one. I didn't really like it, so just put it in. Not see.
Yeah, we're gonna put this in the haven't seen. But all right, we got our S tier. We have Evil Dead and Alien. In our A tier, we have Scream and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. In the B tier, we have Halloween, Exorcist, Conjuring, and Saw. In C tier, we have Nightmare on Elm Street, Insidious, Ty West's X trilogy, but that kind of like excludes whatever. And Friday the 13th. D, and the lowest tier, we have the Terrifier films, and we have I Spit on Your Grave. And then haven't seen, we got Child's Play, Chucky, Final Destination, Paranormal Activity, the Omen films, the VHS films, and the 450 Hellraiser films. Dude, it's so insane. No need for that many fucking films in one dumb franchise. We were going to go through some news, but honestly, there wasn't a lot of news. We got the Kraven the Hunter trailer, which I don't know if you watched. I did. I'm not excited for this. I'll obviously
the Rhino, man.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I like almost don't even want to talk about this trailer because I'm getting shit on left and right for my comic book opinions. I almost want to lie and just say that I loved this movie.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Or loved this trailer just to avoid the discourse that I'm going to get. But yeah, trailer's not doing it for me. I really like Aaron Taylor Johnson though, so I am excited to see him in this role. The accents are a little weird; they're a little all over the place. So I'm hoping maybe that'll tidy up by the time release comes out. And the only really big piece of news, not even news, more of just like a unfortunate anniversary. A couple days ago, it was the 10-year. What do I say? 10-year anniversary. It's not an anniversary though. The passing of Robin Williams happened 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, cool.
Which obviously very sad. One of my all-time favorite actors, not only comedic actors but dramatic actors. He's had some phenomenal roles in Good Morning Vietnam, Dead Poets Society, Good Will Hunting, Miss Doubtfire. So one of my favorites ever. We lost him to suicide, so I just wanted to throw this out as just something to be cautious about. If you're struggling with anything, it's important to talk to people, and if you have no one in your life to talk to, myself, Seth, Tyler, Cam, we're active on Instagram. Feel free to reach out and talk. We all have our own personal mental health problems. The four of us chat with each other. We're very open with each other, and it's very important to be open with people. So I just want to toss that out as just a friendly reminder in the importance of, keeping up with your mental health. Damn, that's like the last part of the podcast. I don't really want to end on a depressing note. Is there anything you want to say? Let's not end with
Aliens. Aliens is mid.
Aliens is a good movie. All right,
the draft for next week.
Oh, right. Plug our stuff. We are doing a draft on Thursday. It'll drop of our favorite / best TV characters that wear a mask. There's no official rules to this draft yet, but I might instill a rule where we can only pick. We're going to do a 10-round draft, just myself and Seth. So we might do only 2 superhero movies, only 3 superhero characters. But we haven't decided that yet. And then Friday for our patrons, we're doing back-to-back Scorsese reviews. We did Silence last week, and we're doing Mean Streets this week. So if you guys want to hear us talk about additional films, we call them real Patreons. Feel free to check out our Patreon. We did, like I said, we did Silence last week. The week before we did Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut. We've done mid-90s. We've done Star Trek, Nope, Mulholland Drive, Psycho, Lost Highway. So if you guys want to hear us talk about films that we don't typically discuss on the podcast, check out our Patreon. Those episodes are usually 25 to a half hour. We just kind of give our thoughts, go into slight spoilers, talk about their importance or lack of importance. That's voted on by our Discord, as is our draft. So shout out to our Discord, shout out to all of our patrons, shout out to our executive producers, Mr. Stefan Niebrick and Stefan Johnson. We appreciate all that you guys do for us. But that'll wrap up Real Talk episode 102. One final plug. 2 weeks ago, we had our episode 100. We appreciate the reception that episode is getting. It's doing really well with views on YouTube and Spotify. So we appreciate you guys for sticking around for 100 episodes. But that'll wrap up Real Talk episode 102, and we will see you all on Thursday for our draft.